Good afternoon, and welcome to today's New York City Council hearing from the Committee on Small Business jointly with the Committee on Economic Development. At this time, I'd like to remind everyone to please silence their electronic devices and at no point is anyone to approach the dais unless invited to testify. If you'd like to testify or have any questions, please see the Sergeant at Arms at the desk in the back. Chairs, we are ready to begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon. This hearing is called to order. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Councilmember Oswald Feliz, Chair of the Committee on Small Business. Thank you for joining us today on our joint hearing between the Committee on Small Business and the Committee on Economic Development to examine the legal and regulatory challenges affecting small businesses. I'd like to begin by thanking my co-chair, Majority Leader Amanda Farias. I'd also like to thank representatives from the administration. Great to see you, Commissioner and team, and my council colleagues who have joined us today, including Councilmember Mercedes Narcisse, and many who are others who are in the Fire and Emergency Management Committee currently, but will be joining us in a few minutes. Small businesses are essential parts of our daily lives, and they contribute to the uniqueness of our neighborhoods. Small business owners are innovative and passionate, and excited to bring their vision and talents to a community. New York City is vibrant for many reasons, including because of the hard work of our small business owners who work tirelessly to create local jobs and build strong, attractive, and thriving communities. I see this every day as representative of District 15, which covers areas including Fordham Road, which is the busiest commercial corridor in the Bronx and one of the busiest in the entire city, but also Arthur Avenue / Little Italy, which is another top tourist destination in our city. But it can be a struggle to start and maintain a small business in our city. For some business owners, the difficulty lies in navigating and complying with regulations from numerous city agencies. Although the regulation of products and services sold are necessary to keep consumers and workers safe, this council has worked hard to reform unnecessary, burdensome restrictions and penalties. Local Law 80 and Local Law 151 both stand as models for effectively reducing regulatory burdens and compliance costs without compromising the protections of consumers, workers, and of course, communities. Small business owners often require legal assistance on many issues, including to understand their obligations to the city, understand contracts they enter into between other stakeholders, and of course, to assert their rights as tenants. To this end, the Department of Small Business Services, through their Commercial Lease Assistance Program, provides free legal assistance for small business owners dealing with commercial lease issues. Local Law 90 of 2020 also requires a report on these services and empowers SBS to, in some cases, provide legal representation in court for small business tenants in certain situations. For the safety and well-being of New Yorkers, it remains important to ensure that business owners are fully informed of the laws and regulations they must comply with. And the city must continue to educate and empower these small business owners so we can preserve our mom and pop shops and preserve the fabric of thriving neighborhoods in every borough. We look forward to hearing from SBS about the work to provide legal assistance and regulatory compliance support to small businesses, and about how the City Council can further that work so our small businesses can continue to thrive. With that goal in mind, the Committee on Small Business will hear 3 bills today. The first is my bill, which requires that SBS report on the different types of violations issued to businesses. Report on the different types of violations so that we can know the specific challenges affecting the many different commercial corridors in our city. The legislation also requires that the SBS conduct education and training to ensure that we as a city are helping these small businesses with the specific challenges that they're facing. These measures would enhance transparency and fairness in regulatory enforcement and support services from the city so that all of our small businesses can receive tailored support and avoid unnecessary, burdensome penalties. That's the first bill. The second bill is Intro 449, sponsored by Councilmember Althea Stevens, which requires SBS to establish and maintain a commercial landlord watch list specifically focused on the harassment of commercial tenants. Finally, the third bill is Intro 1082 by Councilmember Mercedes Narcisse, which will require SBS to conduct a study on the many costs and fees related to opening and maintaining a small business. I'm grateful to Council Members Stevens and Narcisse for introducing these bills and focusing on the needs of our small businesses, and we look forward to hearing from the administration on these bills. I would like to thank Jessica Boulay and Rebecca Barilla from Central Staff for their work putting this hearing together, as well as my own team, my Chief of Staff, Esperanza Diaz, Deputy Chief of Staff, Guillermo Rodriguez, Budget Director, Santiago Baena, and of course our Nicole from my team, who has also joined us. And I would like to recognize council members who have joined us, including our Majority Leader, Amanda Farias, Council Member Mercedes Narcisse, and Council Member Rafael Salamanca. I will now turn it over to my co-chair, Majority Leader Amanda Farias, for her opening statement.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Chair Feliz. My name is Amanda Farias, and I have the privilege of chairing the Committee on Economic Development. I would first like to thank my co-chair for holding this hearing today, as well as the members of our committees, the administration, and various interested parties for joining us to discuss the legal and regulatory challenges facing New York City small businesses. Our city's local businesses are not just economic entities. They are lifelines that bring vitality and character to our neighborhoods. Bodegas, hair salons, restaurants, hardware stores, independent clothing shops, and houseware stores create the social and economic fabric of our communities. These businesses fuel local economies by providing jobs to residents, circulating wealth, and fostering an environment of shared growth. They offer safe spaces for community members to gather, creating joy and strengthening social bonds. When our small businesses thrive, they directly contribute to the growth and stability of neighborhoods, making New York City's boroughs stronger and more vibrant. As an elected official, I have the unique opportunity to engage with business owners in my district daily. These interactions help me understand the hopes, concerns, and challenges they face. Small businesses are the backbone of our local economy, but they face growing hurdles due to overregulation, rising rents, and intense competition from larger corporations. While regulations are necessary to ensure safety and fairness, excessive red tape can stifle innovation and put unnecessary strain on small businesses, making it harder for them to thrive. This hearing will focus on how we can streamline processes and reduce regulatory burdens to give small businesses the breathing room they need to succeed and grow their economic contributions. I'm particularly interested in hearing from the administration about how existing programs designed to support small businesses are reaching immigrant-run shops. Many of these businesses are at the heart of our communities, but often face additional challenges due to language barriers, legal complexities, or lack of access to support services. Ensuring that immigrant-owned businesses, which are vital to the cultural and economic diversity of our city, have the tools to succeed is crucial for our collective prosperity. By reducing unnecessary regulatory constraints and improving outreach, we can help ensure that all local businesses, especially those run by marginalized and hard-to-reach communities, thrive in an equitable economic landscape. Lastly, I want to address the concerning number of vacant storefronts across our city. Each empty space represents not just lost revenue, but lost potential for job creation, community interaction, and neighborhood vitality. These vacancies hold back entire communities. Today, we will also explore what can be done to bring businesses back into these spaces and restore the vibrancy that vacant properties strip away from our communities. Reducing regulatory obstacles is key to ensuring that new businesses can open and existing ones can expand, further contributing to the economic and social health of our city. Before I turn the microphone back over to Chair Feliz, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the Economic Development Committee staff, Senior Counsel Alex Polinoff, Senior Policy Analyst William Hongach, and Finance Analyst Glenn Martelloni for their hard work in preparing for this hearing. We look forward to hearing from today's participants and having a constructive conversation on how we can best support our city's small businesses, empowering them to continue being cornerstones of economic vitality and community life. I will now turn the mic back over to Chair Feliz.
Thank you so much, Majority Leader. I would like to turn it now to Councilmember Mercedes Narcisse, who has her intro 449 before this committee today. 1082.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Chair Feliz, and my colleagues and Commissioner and your leadership. Thank you. And I would be remiss not to acknowledge my Canarsie folks for Merchant Association, Canarsie Merchant Association, Noreen, Meadows, that have been working very hard with me, and of course the president of chamber I see in the room that I'm always bothering to help me to shape my community. As a former small business owner, I know firsthand how overwhelming the fees and the costs can be when you're trying to start and sustain a small business in New York City. From permitting and licensing to insurance and trash removal, these expenses add up very quickly and can be a major obstacle for many aspiring entrepreneurs. We constantly encourage our communities to support small businesses, and we call it small businesses are the backbone of our communities, but yet the backbone, we need some bone marrows to infuse in there. But that's a medical technique, but we can get to it if you don't get it. But we must also do our part as a city to support all small businesses that's starting. It makes it more easier, more affordable, and when you starting a small business, as difficult as it is, you think you're alone, and then we need small businesses to thrive in our community. So Intro 1082 calls for a comprehensive study to examine the regulatory, legal, and operational costs that burden small businesses, with a focus on MWBEs and businesses in transit poor areas. One of the things for MWBE, I know it's been very fragmented in some extent, because you said, yes, you can be MWBEs, but the process, I have been there, so I'm talking from experience. The fighting will help our body craft solutions that can reduce those barriers and promote entrepreneurship across our city. I urge my colleagues to support this bill, as it will take a critical step toward empowering our small business community. So I thank you in advance, and thank you, and I'm looking forward. I heard we will have conversation, Commissioner, and I'm ready for this conversation, because I really would like to see more entrepreneurs stay in business. We know the first 5 years is very difficult, but if you can get the support, if you have a good plan in place, I think we should be more supportive of our entrepreneurship in our community. So thank you, Chair. Thank you, my colleagues.
Thank you so much. And by the way, you just heard from a former small business owner, right?
Maybe.
Yep. Thank you. I'll now turn it over to the committee council to administer the oath before we hear from the mayoral administration.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Jessica Boulay. I'm committee counsel for the Committee on Small Business. Today, we will hear testimony from the Department of Small Business Services. Joining us as panelists, we have Dineshal Gross, Commissioner for Small Business Services, Haris Khan, and Acting Chief of Staff, and Natasha Joseph, Assistant Commissioner. Thank you all. If you could raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this committee, and to respond honestly to council member questions?
I do.
Thank you. Please begin when you're ready.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Chair Felice, Chair Farias, and members of the Committees on Small Business and Economic Development, and all assembled here today. My name is Dineshal Gross. I'm proud to be the Commissioner of the City's Department of Small Business Services. I am joined here today by Haris Khan, my Acting Chief of Staff, and Natasha Joseph, Assistant Commissioner for Government Navigation and Regulatory Reform. We are very pleased to be here today to discuss the ways that SBS supports small businesses that are navigating legal and regulatory challenges and the bills before us. Nearly 5 years ago, our city faced one of its most difficult periods. A global pandemic and ensuing economic crisis resulted in the loss of thousands of small businesses and nearly 23% of New York City's private jobs in the span of just a couple of months. Businesses are integral to every aspect of city life. They contribute to the economy through taxes, they contribute to the social safety net, they provide goods and services, They create jobs that foster economic mobility, and they enhance neighborhood vibrancy and public safety. The presence of successful operating businesses strengthens community well-being and resilience. At the start of 2022, the Adams administration responded to the post-pandemic impacts on small businesses by producing a robust blueprint for economic recovery, which included historic investments, support for our commercial corridors, and the launch of new programs aimed at expanding access to low-cost capital for small businesses. One such program, the New York City Small Business Opportunity Fund, awarded more than $85 million in capital to over 1,000 small businesses citywide. Our Commercial Lease Assistance Program, which was launched in 2018, was baselined under the Adams administration. Commercial lease assistance was critical during the pandemic in helping businesses negotiate leases and repayment plans for those struggling to meet their commercial rent obligations. The pandemic also prompted a critical reassessment of how city government itself can become a barrier to entrepreneurship and economic growth. Within his first week in office, Mayor Adams signed Executive Order 2, also known as Small Business Forward. This order charged the city's regulatory agencies with reviewing their most common violations and identifying reforms to reduce the regulatory burden on small businesses. Through this effort, the Adams administration identified over 100 reforms to reduce fine schedules, create cure periods, and issue warnings to first-time violators, not endangering public health or safety, saving small businesses more than $8 million per year. These savings would not have been possible without the support of this City Council through the passage of Local Law 151 of 2023. Through Executive Order 15, Mayor Adams also launched the Small Business Advisory Commission, or SBAC. This advisory council, composed of small business leaders and community stakeholders from across the 5 boroughs, is tasked with proposing further opportunities to cut red tape and improve business services. SBAC has successfully advocated for changes to the administrative rulemaking process, informed enhancements to SBS's outreach strategy, and its members regularly give the administration input concerning upcoming city, state, and federal policies. Also in 2022, SBS launched the New York City Business Express Service Team, known as NYC BEST, to work one-on-one with small business owners to help them get their licenses and permits faster, understand regulatory requirements, and avoid fines and fees. The NYC BEST team has already helped small businesses save $42 million since the start of the administration. Despite tremendous progress, we know that many small businesses continue to struggle and need our support. While the city has seen 4 consecutive quarters of declining storefront vacancies, small businesses in the Central Business District of Manhattan and parts of downtown Brooklyn still experience high turnover and persistent vacancies. That's why we are committed to finding ways to reduce burdens on small businesses. Since becoming SBS Commissioner, I've made it a priority to visit as many council districts as possible and hear directly from business owners, community leaders, and our local elected officials about evolving corridor-specific or community-specific challenges. I look forward to continuing our collaboration to support small businesses and advance reforms that will create a more supportive environment for small businesses across the city. We know that there are 3 bills of interest for today's hearing that seek to address small business challenges. Intro 449 calls for the creation of a commercial landlord watch list based on tenant harassment cases, building violations, evictions, and SBS Commissioner discretion. However, our analysis of commercial tenant harassment cases filed under the existing law identified fewer than 30 cases that have been heard by New York Supreme Court, of which only a small number have resulted in a finding of harassment as alleged by the plaintiffs, the tenant plaintiffs in the case. This indicates that there may be insufficient data to support the creation of an annual watch list. We looked at a period going back to 2016. Additionally, building violations may be difficult to interpret, as business owners or property owners may be at fault for these types of violations. Additionally, as a non-regulatory and non-enforcement agency, the proposed bill conflicts with some of our primary strategies and ongoing programs and initiatives, including the role we play in forming and being part of the oversight of the city's 76 business improvement districts, of which the majority of the boards are property owners. We welcome further conversation with the bill sponsors to find other ways of addressing commercial tenant harassment. Intro 1082 calls for a study of the cost associated with opening and maintaining a small business. Our department is committed to reducing small business costs by helping entrepreneurs navigate the city's regulatory landscape, managing startup expenses, identifying potential savings through programs like the NYC Best Team, the Commercial Lease Assistance Program, the My City Business Portal, our Business Incentives Estimator, and our Financing Assistance Programs. Nonetheless, the requirements of the bill would be difficult to accomplish, as the costs for small business creation vary significantly for business owners depending on their business type, business location, market conditions, and other case-specific factors. We're happy to have further conversations with Councilmember Narcisse to improve our relevant services. Intro 1132 calls for an annual analysis of violations issued against small businesses by geography and targeted outreach based on any disparities. While we're currently unable to conduct such annual studies without increased staffing and technology capacity, we are happy to deploy our business outreach staff to any neighborhoods of interest to the City Council, separate from our promotional efforts in all neighborhoods, and to remain focused on the goals of this bill. We are grateful for the City Council's partnership and service to our small business community, from the passage of the Small Business Forward Package to the historic City of Yes for economic opportunity. Together, we are building a city that wholeheartedly welcomes entrepreneurship and small businesses. We recognize that your offices are on the front lines assisting New Yorkers every day. So thank you for referring cases our way. We take every request for assistance seriously, whether it comes through our 7 walk-in business solution centers, the SBS hotline, the My City business site, through 311, or from your district offices. And we ask each of you to encourage small business owners to reach out to us to access our free services. Thank you, and we look forward to your questions in today's discussion.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your opening statement and also for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So today we're hearing numerous bills, including my bill, which will require that SBS analyze and report on the different violations issued to small businesses. Specifically, SBS must report on the 5 most common violations in each community district and shall conduct training, education, and other assistance to help them comply with the specific challenges affecting these businesses. This law, by giving us data related to fines and legal issues affecting these small businesses, will give us a good picture of the specific challenges that they're facing. It's a great way of ensuring that our solutions are specifically related to their issues. Every commercial corridor, of course, has different challenges. A commercial corridor with high foot traffic might have sanitation-related issues, littering, and etc. Areas with high vacancy rates might have quality of life issues. Areas with a large amount of nightlife establishments might have issues related to, for example, noise complaints. And it's important that we understand their issues so that, again, we can craft the right solutions. There are numerous laws, in effect, that somewhat touch on these different issues, including Local Law 156 of 2019, which requires that SBS conduct training and education on different issues, including compliance. So I guess that we could start with questions about that local law. Local Law 156. So what are the different types of training and education programs that Local Law 156 offers? And how many people generally participate in these programs?
Thank you, Councilmember Felice. So regarding Local Law 156, this is a reporting requirement that to date SBS has not submitted a first report for this. And we take our reporting requirements to this council extremely seriously. We produce dozens of reports annually for the City Council, including our quarterly MWBE compliance reports, the Local Law 90 report on commercial lease assistance, which I think we'll talk about today. This particular report is one that was not on our radar screen, and I'm very excited that we're already working between the administration and the council on a portal that's going to ensure that we don't have gaps like this in our reporting requirements, because we staff to ensure that we meet these requirements and we take it very seriously. So my apologies for that oversight. Luckily, we do report in our MMR report every year in the Mayor's Management Report on our provision of business services, including government navigation services. And you'll see in the MMR that the number of government navigation services provided increased significantly in FY24. So for example, in FY23, we provided 9,813 government navigation services. Last fiscal year, we provided 10,339 government navigation services. So there you're seeing reflected the impact of the work of our NYC BEST team, which is advising small businesses on licensing, permitting, utilities, how to sequence all of the steps needed to get to their opening day as quickly as possible and begin providing jobs and providing goods and services and making money for their families. So we are reporting publicly on that work. We will ensure that we meet also the reporting requirements to the City Council.
Thank you. And when more or less can we expect that report to be public? Do you think 3 months, 6 months is a reasonable timeline, more or less?
I think we can do better than that. We learned about the requirement last week. We'll do our best to have it to the council before the end of February.
Perfect. Thank you. And what are some of the most popular trainings you've had under Local Law 156?
So we provide dozens of types of courses, some through our Business Solution Center, some through our central staff. We have courses on entity formation. We have those are quite popular. We provide courses on our commercial lease assistance program. So the heart of that service is a deep consultative service where the business owners are actually represented by the attorneys from our vendor in a confidential attorney-client privilege relationship on pre-litigation matters. Well, we introduce a broader set of businesses to commercial leasing issues, concerns, and the service through business education, webinars, and clinics. And those are popular as well, and we think that's a great way to market that service and increase the impact of our investment in commercial lease assistance.
Okay, and outside of Local Law 156, are there other trainings and education outreach that SBS engages in related to regulatory compliance outside of Local Law 156? Yes,
well, I'm getting to understand the categories of reporting required by Local Law 156, and I think there's some potential overlap in the categories that are described in the law. So as we work through this, we'll have to think about how we will kind of distribute the business courses and business education offerings that we have across the categories required by the local law. But we do provide some specialized training, for example, to nightlife establishments. We're helping them understand how to protect the safety of their patrons. We're providing Narcan training. We are helping them understand upstander culture and practices. So for some specialized industries like the Office of Nightlife, our food and beverage industry partnership is providing training, and we're excited that we've been working through a new curriculum focused on the planning and initiation of new food and beverage industry businesses, so that it's an industry where there's a lot of interest, significant complexity, but some fewer barriers to entry than in some other industries, and a great deal of interest in our client profile. So we want to be sure that they understand all of the steps to launch a F&B business and have our support in doing that. So that's another specialized service. We also offer educational programs focused on the growing legal cannabis industry in the city of New York through our Cannabis NYC program. So we actually have cannabis account managers in all of our business solution centers. They support entrepreneurial New Yorkers who want to apply for licenses to the state, but also understand the legal cannabis industry as it's growing in the city. Those are examples of some of the business education services that may fall outside of the requirements of 156.
Yeah, these trainings are important, but access to these trainings is equally important. So what are steps that we take to ensure that everyone has access to these types of trainings?
I love that question. I think as someone who's obsessed with small businesses and who is really grateful to be in this job, one of the things that is most frustrating is when you learn that there was a business owner that needs exactly the service that we provide that didn't know about it, right, at the right moment. So we really try to do everything that we can, everything that we have done that has worked, we've tried to double down on and build new ways to reach business owners. Because as a non-regulatory agency, no business has to work with us. If we're not delivering value through the services and reaching them through channels that they pay attention to, cutting through the noise, because these business owners aren't just wearing many hats. In many of their businesses, they're wearing all of the hats, and so we've got to get their attention in the right way. We've got to reach them in language. We have to have trusted partners who can promote our services to them and assure them that this is a quality service that is not a scam, that's going to help them and not hurt them and not have a hidden cost at the end. So we do everything. We have a central marketing team. We do email marketing. We do social media marketing. We do Google ad search responses so that if you're searching for something, SBS pops up in your results. We do partnership with all of our business advisory groups, our SBAC, our Latino American Small Business Task Force, our Asian American Small Business Task Force. We do partnerships with community organizations on the ground. Sometimes we partner to deliver our series, our business education series on government regulation and compliance in partnership with community organizations. I believe we've done that 61 times for the NYC Best in Your Community program. So there we are working with those community partners to understand what the needs are of the business community in a particular neighborhood, to do advanced outreach, to bring them together, to deliver the service, and then to do that follow-up to connect them to other needs. Beginning in 2022, we made a decision as an agency to create a central outreach team, and that has significantly increased our capacity to do outreach citywide. And we have our mobile unit, and we take the show on the road, all kinds of community events or events that we create. When we send out the mobile unit, we canvass the corridors where we're parked. We do rapid consultations inside of the small businesses. And I should also note that City Council funding and your discretionary programs are an important supplement to the outreach resources that we provide. So the City Council has funded Chamber on the Go, I believe also since for about 8 years. And since the pandemic, the Small Business Resource Network, and all those those discretionary contracts are managed through SBS, and they supplement our outreach capacity. So those are some of the ways that we try to reach small businesses with awareness of our programs. And then when we connect with them, we ask them how they heard about us so that we can know what's working in terms of our outreach methods and try to invest in those effective methods of connection.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all the information on Local Law 156. A few questions about Intro 1132, but before that, I'll recognize the council members who have joined us. Councilmember Ung, Bottcher, Zhuang, and Krishnan. Thank you for joining us today. A few questions about 1132, which requires that SBS analyze and report on the different violations issued based on community districts and different corridors. First and foremost, what's the administration's position on the bill? Is it supportive? And also, are there ways of making the bill better, stronger, so that we could make the goals easier to achieve?
Thank you, Council Member. Well, I'm a nerd, so a reporting bill that asks SBS to focus on, agency-wide, citywide violations data, I think is starting in a very strong place. Here, I want to reflect back on, what I mentioned in my testimony. There's some resource challenges to delivering on this. And I think it's useful to think about what we were able to accomplish in terms of increased effectiveness with our agency outreach team. There we created a central resource to focus on outreach, and we've been able to reach many more neighborhoods, many more businesses and individuals through that team. We do have some staff at SBS that are focused on data management, but it is generally the management of our service data. So our data describing the work that we do, data describing our clients, we manage it for reporting to funders, we manage it for reporting to the city council, and for being able to perform our work and measure the effectiveness of our work. So I believe this bill contemplates a new type of data responsibility for SBS, which would be an analysis of citywide violations data. Much of it is available in the open data portal, but to effectively mine and then analyze and then represent the insights that you're interested into would require geocoding tools, data visualization, specializations, mapping resources, and we would want to, be able to tackle it the right way if this bill moves forward. So I love the focus, but currently we don't have resources to create a central data team to provide this type of detailed analysis, or with a focus on geographic disparities that you would like to see going forward. And so for this, we'll have to, I think, remain in conversation between the council and the administration about that resource gap.
Okay, a few more questions on that. Does SBS know more or less how many businesses reach out for help related to regulatory compliance and fines and other legal issues? Any rough data on that?
Yes, so in terms of outreach, I'll have to ask Natasha to try to find that for me, but I have the number of businesses that we served with government navigation services in 2024. That was over 8,000 businesses.
8,000?
Yes, over 8,000 citywide.
And have you ever analyzed regulatory violations based on geographic regions, for example, based on borough, based on zip code, or based on different commercial corridors?
So, because we are obsessed with our work, we have done some ad hoc analysis, but not on a consistent basis, to understand distribution of violations across the 5 boroughs. So the strategy in EO2 was to require each regulatory agency to do an analysis of their own violations and identify the 25 top violations for that agency and determine what could be reduced. So there was not the kind of responsibility that you're considering for SBS, centralizing that, and that work was coordinated by City Hall. At various points in the council's interest in reducing small business regulation, I think City Hall teams from the Mayor's Office of Operations to the Mayor's Office of Efficiency have been part of that work. So again, this would be a new responsibility for SBS, and we've done it only on an ad hoc basis to date.
If this bill is implemented, are there any regulations we think will come out of it? For example, regulations that we're always hearing about when we're talking to small business owners.
I think if this bill was implemented, we would have some insights into the incidence of inspection. We would have more insight into the financial impact of regulatory enforcement by our city agency partners. I think also I would love to have insights into when there because I think when there are repeat instances of noncompliance or citation for noncompliance, the assumption is that the business owner is a scofflaw, right? I don't think that's usually the case. Very often, there's misunderstanding at the base of it, or there's an operational challenge that may be standing between the business owner and compliance. For example, understanding the hours of sidewalk inspection by their local sanitation depot, or understanding what aspect of their sidewalk usage, right, is problematic and could be cited by DOT. So by understanding both the distribution of regulation citywide, what types of businesses are being impacted, the financial impact on those businesses, and where there's repeated instances of citation, I think that could help to inform policy innovations and service adaptations as well.
Yeah, any specific issues though that we think will come out of this? For example, repeat violations. When we speak with businesses, I'm sure DSNY related violations is something that we hear about a lot. Also, you mentioned inspections. Any specific inspections or any issue that we think will, I guess we could foresee based on the conversations we've had with businesses?
Well, I would say based on the experience of EO2, we worked with all of the regulatory agencies and they were all able to identify some opportunities for improvement in their own scopes of work. So I wouldn't want to guess about what the analysis would show. I think they would be broad.
Okay, and final question, and then I'll pause. So this is one of the first discussions we have on this bill, the idea of analyzing different types of violations based on commercial corridors. I know we're still analyzing the idea and thinking about ways we could implement it. But if you were to guess, approximately how much funding would be needed to implement the idea, to fulfill all parts of it, analyzing the fines, reporting, but also conducting the training, and also more or less, if you were to guess, how big would the staff, how much staff would you need for it? If you were to take a rough guess, budget and also staff numbers.
Thank you, Council Member. So OMB is we're working with the Office of Management and Budget on understanding the fiscal impact here. Overall, across the three bills that have been put forward for this hearing, the impact would be around $7 million. In terms of headcount, on the bills related to fines and fees and reforms, it's a 2-person headcount impact to the agency.
Thank you for the information. I'd like to recognize Councilmember
I'm sorry,
Palladino.
I'd like to add that in addition to the head count, there's likely to be tools, technology tools, to do the mapping and analysis and make it available broadly.
Okay, thank you. So I'll recognize Councilmember Palladino, who has joined us. I'll pass it back to our majority leader for some questions.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to start off with some questions that I have just from testimony. Do you folks happen to currently have or have looked at the criteria utilized by the Supreme Court as what's determining the determining criteria for harassment? Because I know where you folks referenced only 30 cases for commercial tenant harassment law. To me, 30 cases is just 30 cases too many. So I just want to know if you folks have available, like, what is the criteria that's utilized for the term or the issue of harassment? And then if so, how many of those 30 cases that you folks looked into were building regulatory, if you have that?
So we've only pulled the cases and looked for the disposition of the cases and the distribution of the cases across the years since the local protection was enacted, which was September of 2016. So we saw, the first cases begin around 2019, a small increase in the cases during the pandemic. But we'd like to look further and understand that. We're happy to be in conversation with council about the cases that have been filed to date. And we identified them through a LexisNexis search. We don't have any special insight into what those cases will be because we are not currently providing litigation support for those cases. I feel like I missed part of your question.
Just asking if we knew, like, what the criteria of the Supreme Court is utilizing to determine harassment, or what's labeled and listed as harassment. I think when it comes to, as I'm sure you folks are familiar with, when it comes to some of the small businesses, we're seeing, not renewal of leases purposefully. We're seeing forced rental increases. Are those examples, for the sake of examples, are those considered harassment or harassment-like in terms of their criteria, because I do think there's a strong difference between what a individual small business owner experiencing numerous letters, pushing them out, eviction notices, forced violations as that's harassment to them, but maybe the Supreme Court or even our city doesn't identify those types of actions as harassment to a tenant or a commercial tenant or a small business owner.
So there is a statutory definition in the section of the code concerning, what constitutes commercial tenant harassment. And again, we would have to look more closely at those cases to understand what aspects of behavior were cited by the tenants. I can say that in our commercial lease assistance program, we don't require clients to, we don't narrowly focus on a statutory definition of harassment. So some of the types of tenant complaints that lead them to reach out to request CLA support may have to do with landlords, blocking access to the space, issues of repairs not done, making the space unusable, demands for increased payments or payments that are outside of what is determined by the lease. And our commercial lease assistance vendor is addressing that by leveling the playing field between that tenant and the landlord, who are always represented, so that the landlord has, the small business has a skilled advocate in negotiating with the landlord. But that vendor is providing only pre-litigation services. So if a small business comes to SBS or Business Solutions Center or in any partner and gets referred to us when they're already in eviction proceedings, our vendor is required to provide a warm handoff, a referral to low cost or pro bono legal services for that litigation purpose. But the CLA intervention does not extend to representation in court.
Okay, and just off of the commercial lease assistance program and the legal services that are provided, is in this program, is it required to, or do they voluntarily report instances of potential or suspected commercial tenant harassment?
So we manage the vendor who delivers the program, and we get aggregated data on the types of matters in which they represent small business clients, and they share details on some of the cases they share some details on the cases with SBS through our CRM, but they are in a privileged attorney-client relationship with the client. So we get aggregated data. We're not getting all of the details, so that there's some privacy for the business in that representation.
Okay, thank you. And in Local Law 90 of 2020, it empowers SBS to provide legal representation in court for small businesses and small business tenants who may lack the resources to secure their own attorney. Outside of, is the vendor this program the only space where we're providing legal services? And what other cases have you folks provided in court legal representation?
So this is not the only program through which we provide legal services, but I would say it's the deepest engagement because it is actually providing representation in an attorney-client privileged relationship. But we also provide legal consultations through our business solution centers. I believe in FY24 we provided more than 800 pro bono legal consultations through our business solution centers. We also work with legal services providers such as Legal Aid, volunteers of legal services that provide legal clinics for small businesses, sometimes focused on target populations or specific needs. For example, in the last quarter of the calendar year 2024, as the Corporate Transparency Act requirements were rolling out in a really confusing way, right, because of pending change in administration, litigation, and we wanted to get out the word to immigrant business owners in New York City and all business owners that might have had a filing obligation under the Corporate Transparency Act. We actually worked with Legal Aid to deliver webinars in multiple languages to small business owners. Also did outreach through community and ethnic media. So we are doing clinics for WeNYC, BNYC, and many audiences. In addition, we have a MWBE contract legal services program. So if you're a small business that wants to grow by contracting with New York City, you can understand the terms of the contracts. You can understand, if you're subcontracting, what the terms of the agreements may be with primes and all of those riders. That is not like as deep a service as CLA. It's consultations and business education on legal topics. Those are some of the other legal services we're able to provide as an agency.
And all of those are accessible in a multitude of languages and different forms of media.
Yes, council member.
Great, thank you. I'd like to talk about some of the effects of commercial lease difficulties. High storefront vacancy rates remain an issue for numerous communities in the city. Has SBS analyzed whether there are any relationships between commercial leasing practices and high vacancy rates? And I'd like to know whether lease or legal challenges might be contributing to the high number of vacancies.
So I don't think we're quite there yet, Councilmember Farias. We have really increased our work to understand the incidence of small business vacancy and changes in small business vacancy citywide on a comprehensive basis, and that has been an incredible resource. It's a data resource that we share with many city agency partners. I believe we have a community of practice on small business and commercial vacancy that includes more than 100 city staff across many agencies. And we work with our Office of Technology and Innovation to share that data citywide. But the human behaviors that contribute to vacancy, I think, are the next level analysis. So we've been working with our Department of City Planning, sharing the Live XYZ data. You saw some reporting recently and a DCP study on commercial vacancy citywide, and there are additional questions that we hope to explore. It will be, we also need to maintain the insights that we have through that work, and so we're hoping to have success in doing that in upcoming budget cycles.
Okay, I think it's really important for us to focus in on this aspect. I 100% agree that sometimes there are maybe some business or entrepreneurship practices that can add to whether or not there's consistency or longevity, but there are also some of the, I think, larger, more macro commercial corridor management company or landlord leasee relationships that are expanding and really impacting how small businesses get to stay within corridors and in communities. And it should be on us to be managing and figuring out systems and feedback. In terms of the feedback, have you folks heard from small business owners and other small business representatives on how commercial lease challenges might be making it difficult to find or stay a suitable location in communities for their business?
So, Council Member, I think where we have heard from groups of business owners or about challenges of groups of business owners, it's primarily been from elected officials who are aware of some impact on a corridor that may be relating to, say, a pending economic development project, an upcoming rezoning, where there may be landlords who are reluctant to renew leases before they understand what the impacts of those changes may be on the neighborhood, whether or not they present additional market opportunities for the landlord. I would say, other than that, we work with the individual business owners, and the reasons that they're experiencing commercial lease challenges really vary. Sometimes they have to do with issues of affordability, non-payment, and the challenge of managing rent arrears. Sometimes they have to do with transitions in property owners and prior relationships with the owners, long-term relationships that have been disrupted because of the sale of a property. But where we've heard about groups of business owners, it's often been related to neighborhood level kind of real estate changes or concerns about them.
Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge we've been joined by Majority Whip Brooks Powers. Outside of that, are you getting any referrals from our merchant associations, our EDCs, our bids and whatnot, and also to support that or to respond to some of the vacancy rates or like high rental increases that they're hearing, et cetera?
Yes, so the teams and divisions across SBS work really closely together. So our neighborhood development division both helps to form bids, is part of the governance of bids in an ongoing fashion. We deliver grant programs and capacity building programs for bids and other community development organizations that are focused on the health of commercial strips. And they are deeply familiar with SBS's services, and they help to connect businesses within their boundaries and even nearby to those services. And so yes, we hear from our merchants associations, our business improvement districts, but we have a really robust ecosystem of small business supporters in the city. I think all New Yorkers are a little bit obsessed with small businesses, but there are many nonprofits that make it their mission, and we're lucky to have their partnership. They range from, the membership associations and the chambers of commerce and other ethnic merchants associations to community-based development organizations like Bridge Street and other types of nonprofit partners. So yes, we are in close partnership with them. We manage a mailing list of 700 community organizations that we email regularly to share information about our services and events.
Great. And then in spaces where small businesses are encountering difficulties with commercial landlords, does SBS offer any programs or services to help them relocate, find a different space, minimize any of the costs of getting into a bad situation?
So in terms of relocation, we've only had a few relocation-specific programs in recent years, and they have been, they haven't had a broad demand. So one of them was focused on the Jerome Avenue corridor, relating to a rezoning because there was concern that there would be displacement of longtime auto repair businesses on the corridor. We currently are in the process of launching a program focused on the Gowanus neighborhood, also relating to a rezoning. As I said, we're non-regulatory, non-enforcement agency, but when it comes to giving grants, including relocation grants, the criteria for working with the city, I think, can be significant for a business. For example, you need to be, up to date on all of your taxes, and you have to be able to show that the displacement or the potential move is related to the rezoning. So we do our best to deliver those programs as laid out in the points of agreement, but they haven't had a significant demand.
Okay.
Other than that, we do deliver some incentive programs. We have one relocation incentive program if you're a business operating within Manhattan and you're locating to Upper Manhattan or to the 5 boroughs. There may be some resources supporting that relocation. Otherwise, it's advisement through our business solution centers, our industrial business solutions providers, or through CLA if you're signing a lease in a new location.
Got it. And do you folks, I just want to go over some vacancy rate quick questions. Do you folks have the current percentage of vacant storefronts in the city?
It's 11% citywide.
And do you have that borough-specific vacancy rates by any chance?
Yes, do we have it here in my binder? If not, I've got it.
Yeah, you can, if
And
you
we
can send
follow
it if you don't
back
have
up with
it.
The Bronx is 8%.
Oh, thank you for knowing that. With 2 Bronx members, that's a good thing to remember. And do you happen to know if the numbers have increased over the past 3 years at any points, and if so, by what rate, if you know it?
So it really is very different by corridor, so we're happy to follow up with more details.
that would be really
Citywide,
helpful.
vacancy rates have declined over the last year, so over the last 4 quarters. But as I said, it varies by corridor, and there are some pockets of higher vacancy.
That's great. And do you folks keep track of or have the average amount of time a vacant storefront remains vacant? Are we getting that micro and minuscule in some of our corridors?
I'm not sure I've seen exactly that number, but we can track the change in a space from occupied to vacant or vacant to occupied, because we're doing quarterly, the vendor who we have tracking vacancy is doing quarterly on-the-ground surveys to determine that change. So it's possible to analyze from the vacancy data, which was first baselined pre-pandemic, and then I think there was some gap in data collection, and we've been contracting with them for 2 fiscal years now.
Okay, I'll send some follow-up questions on the vacancy stuff because I think they get a little particular, but I'm very interested in it. I just have some last questions, last couple of questions about SBS and maybe some responsibility or relationship with our street vendors. Does SBS lead in conducting any street vendor outreach and education?
So as I said, we're committed to outreach. We have an agency outreach team. We consider street vendors to be micro businesses, and we work to understand their needs and to include them in our outreach. I wouldn't say we have been assigned responsibility for it, but as New Yorkers who are trying to make a living through business activity, we're committed to serving them. And so in 2022, I believe, we did a large mailing to street vendors, I believe 2,200 licensed street vendors, about our services, our business solution centers, so that they know that these centers are city resources that can serve them as well. I believe we translated that into 10 languages, and including Wolof, because that's a language of high demand. We have, as part of our Small Business Advisory Commission, leaders from the Street Vendor Project, and we also work with other street vendor, not all street vendors, but also market vendors as part of our SBAC and our programming. So that's some of the support we provide for street vendors.
And do you folks have funding dedicated annually or anything dedicated this fiscal year to support staffing or educational outreach to street vending or street vendors outside of the mailing? I know that'll be a fiscal line item. So again, we try to keep the lines of communication open by working closely with street vendor advocacy groups. Yes.
We also one of the recommendations of our Small Business Advisory Commission was to try to understand a landscape analysis of street vending in the city, and so we are working with a vendor to conduct that study this year. And we have invested some one-time funding that we received following the blueprint in that study.
Okay, so no direct line items, but the advisory group is conducting an analysis and you're
That's
doing
right.
mailing, which is great. And does SBS plan to document how many street vendors are reached via SBS services, whether that's to the hotline, small business support centers, any individualized support? Do we tag that already in the system somewhere?
This is a great and interesting question. And I think as a government agency, we always have to balance between our desire to have deep insights into our clients, to be able to measure the effectiveness of our service and report on it, and the reluctance that some clients have to share data with government. So when we're tracking consumption of our business services, we ask the individuals who participate to tell us about their industry, and we try to have some unique identifier for describing their business. If it's operational, like an EIN, we don't always get that. And we also want to be sensitive about creating barriers to consuming service for populations that may be more vulnerable. Sure. And so we don't ask street vendors to identify themselves as street vendors to consume a business education course or a legal consultation. We would track them as a food service, business, or an entrepreneur with the desire to launch a food service business. And I'm not sure that it's the right time to add that kind of data collection or tracking, but I'm happy to be in further discussion about it.
I was just asking to know myself, but I would agree with your final statement. Okay, I think I'm done for questions. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, folks.
Thank you so much for the questions. A few questions, and then I'll pass it on to Councilmember Bottcher. A few questions about Councilmember Stevens' intro 449, which would create a commercial landlord watch list, specifically focused on commercial tenant harassment. So earlier you mentioned, could you just clarify the administration's position? Is it that you're not supportive, or is it that you're open, but we'll have to develop a better system for determining how do we determine what's harassment.
So we don't think it's an appropriate responsibility for SBS, given our core strategies of partnership, the role that we play in working with bids, and also the fact that we're non-regulatory and non-investigatory. We're not staffed to carry out such a responsibility. I think I loved reading the committee report on the bill and the bill text because I think it focuses in on some data points that are really interesting. The incidence of findings of harassment in case law where harassment is alleged, the incidence of small business evictions, and even the violations data, complicated to understand it. So I think it's a great question to ask, but it's the low number of cases that have been brought under the protections, outlawing commercial tenant protection since 2016, that I think is the strongest argument against a required annual report. With just a couple dozen cases over 8 years, including the pandemic, I think an annual report might be more than what's required, and if it is to go forward, we'd be happy to be in conversation about what entity might be more appropriate than SBS.
Yeah, my next question was going to be what agency should run such program, but I'm not going to ask. Then I'm going to get SBS to start fighting with other agencies. Based on the systems that SBS currently has it received any reports about commercial harassment?
So clients reaching out for CLA support, sometimes use the word harassment. And again, we don't require them to have harassment as defined in the law to access the program. We hope that we can support them through the pre-litigation services of the program, and we connect them with the attorneys to better understand their challenge and devise a strategy for negotiating on their behalf. But we don't receive, there's not a requirement. For example, some laws that you can enforce through the courts have a administrative, a path that you can take. If you're a residential tenant, complaining of a landlord issue, you can go to housing court, or you can complain to the state's Department of Housing and Community Renewal and go through an administrative process. There's nothing like that regarding commercial tenant harassment, and so we're not receiving reports, and I don't believe any entity is receiving reports of tenant harassment that are complained of. So it's through our service delivery on CLA that we have the greatest insight.
Does SBS think it would be a good idea to start tracking commercial landlord harassment, whether it's SBS, HPD, or any other agency? Do you think it'll be a good initiative?
I can't say, council member, that it feels like an issue that is ripe for investment in a way that I think would have the impact of our commercial lease assistance service. I think that is a really great investment for the city, and I'm grateful that it's been baseline because it allows us to plan and deliver that service in a consistent way citywide. And if we are able to support tenants, commercial tenants, through pre-litigation services, I think it makes sense to focus on that path to support that we've seen work over the course since 2018.
Thank you. I'll pass it on to Councilmember Eric Botcher for some questions.
Hi, Commissioner. How are you? Thank you for coming to my district a few weeks ago.
That was
really
so fun.
appreciate it. We had fun.
That was my first corridor walk. That was almost all nightlife businesses. I really loved it.
We had fun, even though it was pouring rain and freezing cold. We still had a good time. Commissioner, you testified that you've testified that the city has seen 4 consecutive quarters of declining storefront vacancies. Could you tell us again what the current vacancy rate is for storefronts across New York City, and how does that compare historically? We've had 4 consecutive declining quarters, but how does that compare to the pre-pandemic years? And what would you consider a normal or a healthy vacancy rate for storefronts?
So, Councilmember Botcher, I would love to share more specific insights with you from our vacancy tracking. That is data that we have, so this isn't, let me try to research this and get back to you. It's just to have the right details in front of me, and we're happy to circle back quickly with that because this is a part of our work that we've invested in and we're proud of. So besides being able to say that the citywide vacancy rate is about 11%, that we have seen an overall reduction in vacancy citywide, and it varies by corridor how the current vacancy rate compares to pre-pandemic levels, and we can give you that. Let me ask my staff in terms of the level of analysis for the commercial vacancies. We certainly have it on a borough level, but we may have some finer geographic distinctions as well. I know that we have it, for example, for our business improvement districts, I believe, from the baseline data to the most updated data. So we're happy to circle back with that.
Yep. And in your testimony, you state that the small businesses in the central business district are experiencing high turnover and persistent vacancies. Essentially, you're talking about Midtown Manhattan.
Midtown and some parts of downtown Manhattan. Yes, council member.
To what factors do you attribute the declining vacancy rates citywide over the last 4 consecutive quarters? And to what factors do you attribute the high turnover and persistent vacancies in the central business district?
So we've seen an increase in small business creation since the pandemic. That small business creation has been concentrated in the outer boroughs. In Manhattan, we've got higher real estate costs, and we also have challenges that small business experience due to competition with online retail. The way that we shop as New Yorkers has changed a lot, and that has changed the calculus of business owners about operating in brick and mortar spaces. I think there are also some associations perhaps with hybrid and remote work patterns. So, some commercial areas in outer borough neighborhoods that, didn't have shoppers, for the lunch hour, now may. There are also changes in the food and beverage industry, in the delivery industry, in the available of commercial kitchen space through ghost kitchen. So there are many market factors that also contribute to the change, but those are a few.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your questions. A few more questions on that topic of vacancies. So in the Bronx, commercial vacancies have been decreasing, and the Bronx has the lowest amount of vacancies. Is that correct?
8%? I'm not, Bronx I think is this lowest, followed by Brooklyn. Mm-hmm.
What are businesses that we've seen, number one, go out of business these past 5 years, and also what businesses have mostly opened up? Are we seeing more retail, restaurants?
So we are seeing a growth of nightlife businesses, some food service establishments. We're seeing a decline in dry goods businesses. So, businesses that sell stuff that New Yorkers need. The folks, who might have sold hats, sporting gear, trophies, those types of things, like in a neighborhood. Some types of business that I think New Yorkers typically shopped at, but can now, have competition from products produced overline and available through major online retailers. We're seeing some growth in experiential types of businesses. So the bounce U's and the climbing gyms and the ping pong tables and the golf simulators. And I think there's been some growth in healthcare businesses, and we're happy to follow up with more details about the change in business types that we're seeing citywide.
And
New food and bev. Look, so I say the thing, and then they slide me the note to tell me whether I was right or wrong. I'm right on food and bev.
Good. Just curious, so about a month ago, I was shopping, looking online what's available, including at Home Depot, doing some stuff in my apartment, and then I was able to get a large item that I would have otherwise have gone to Home Depot to pick up and then have to carry and then have to deliver. My car is not large enough for the item. Amazon was able to deliver it within 12 hours. Mm-hmm. So just curious, to what extent is companies like Amazon playing a role. Again, imagine a large item that you'll have to pay for delivery or carry yourself, have to, number one, go to Home Depot or travel, versus being able to have it, you order it at 8 p.m. the day before, 10 a.m., it's in front of your door.
So our Department of Transportation did a study, and they put out a stat on the percentage of New York City households that receive a delivery every week. And I always say it wrong, but it's enormous. Right? We'll circle back to you with the specific stat. I mean, we see it. We see the trucks on our streets, right? It's part of the congestion we experience in our city. You know, I'm not sure that there's a right or wrong there. We also have a growing set of business owners that participate in the transportation and logistics industry. They do some of our hiring through Workforce One. Those are important aspects of business growth as well. So it's definitely a challenge for local businesses that have to compete in that way. I think the story Amazon would tell is that they also engage small business owners so that they're able to sell through their platforms. How can we understand the aggregate impact? I think it's something that we watch over time. And we also need to invest in small business resilience to help those businesses that want to pivot, you know, figure out ways to use the expertise that they've developed in new ways.
Any similar question, but I guess related to smaller businesses. Any trends we've seen related to bodegas? I speak with bodega owners, and they all say business is slow. I'm wondering what role are these online apps or, you know, different things you could order through your phone playing? What role that's playing in business being slow for other small businesses? Any trends we've seen on that?
So I think in food and beverage, you know, we've seen some growth, and some ways of doing business have been challenged, and businesses that have adapted to work with the delivery apps, to embrace social media marketing, right? They may have different experiences. Inflation has also been a huge challenge for those businesses. As the cost of ingredients goes up, you know, they have to raise their prices, and customers that are price sensitive, you know, may vote with their feet or vote with their pockets, right? Because the price of a bacon, egg, and cheese, you know, it's not under $5 anymore because the inputs are higher and insurance costs are higher, and the you know, the lease may be greater as well. So I think all of these things combine to make this an environment where small business education, connections between small businesses, a robust ecosystem of supports for small businesses is increasingly important. These are smart folks. They know how to make money. They're expert in their work, but the pace of change does require, I think, a city that's also focused on supporting them through those periods of change.
And final question, and then I'll pass it on to Councilmember Palladino. To what extent is the issue of retail theft playing a role on the issue of vacancies? I mean, it seems like retail stores are gone or will be gone, many for the most part. So what role is that playing, or we've seen play on that topic of vacancies?
So we do see complaints about retail theft citywide. We respond through our services of our emergency response unit. We work closely with our business improvement districts that, you know, people know them for the work that they provide, planting the tree pits and providing tree guards and doing district marketing and, you know, beautiful lighting events and other types of events. But the bids provide supplemental security as well, and that is very important to addressing retail theft issues. I can say that City Hall and the NYPD are very focused on the problem of retail theft. There are many, multiple kind of groups convened and programs across the city to address this, including the FUSIS camera program and other programs under consideration. I know even in the U.S. Congress, you know, panic buttons and things of that nature. So we try to connect business owners to public safety officials to address those issues where we can, to emergency grants to help them recover from instances where they've been harmed by crime. vandalism and things of that nature. And I think it'll continue to be a problem, and it's a perception problem too. You know, you may have one major incident on a corridor that makes the corridor feel unsafe for businesses that might have been considering locating there or businesses nearby. So the administration is very focused on it. I think Deputy Mayor Chauncey Parker is doing a fabulous job in the Every Block Counts initiative to really address those fears that are created by incidents of retail theft and public safety.
Sorry, just a quick, just to kind of follow up from that question. Has SBS thought of, like, long-term vision planning, thought of looking at different ways or to create recommendations for small businesses that provide certain services in community that are seeing high rates of retail theft, on how they could readapt their storefront or readapt their stores to better equip the workers there? I immediately think of like a Walgreens and a CVS, where they are now locking up every product that they can, and that is just a short response or a small response that even still doesn't curb some of the retail theft that happens. Are we looking as an agency to help them reconfigure and rethink how they can remain within our corridors and our communities with short burst fixes to their locations? And I only ask this because what a lot of us already know and what we see happen in our communities is the local mom and pop pharmacy, for example, will go out of business because you have 2 CVS's in proximity. But those CVS's or not to use CVS as the one example, but that type of larger catch-all store then eliminates other mom and pop shops. And when they're ready to leave because, you know, their 10% of their sales are being impacted by retail theft, and that isn't a line item in their operational budget, they also then leave the community with no pharmacy, and now no pharmacy within their store, which is taking away jobs, but also taking away accessibility to critical resources. So I'm just wondering, are we even thinking larger scale and long term of how can we help people, or how can we make recommendations to different folks on readapting their stores to stay within communities?
Absolutely, Councilmember. We've thought about that. We've piloted programs. We've done deep consultations with businesses focused on these issues. We even provided, a grant program a few years ago, Love Your Local, to try and keep legacy businesses in communities by considering what operational adaptations they would need to make, and then providing implementation funding for them to do it. It's hard to scale interventions that deep, and so we also need to think about ways of sharing the learnings about what works across networks. Our industry partnerships are great for that, but I think we'll need to have continued partnership with public safety agencies. NYPD Community Affairs is very focused on providing advisement for small businesses. You know, they meet regularly, for example, with nightlife businesses to talk about emerging safety challenges. This was prevalent post-pandemic, and I went to my first one of those meetings recently, where they actually convene clubs and bar operators and talk to them about how to work with their promoters, how to, work with the precinct to notify them of upcoming events, and otherwise plan and manage their security to create safety for the venue and for their clients. I think what we're seeing now is that there are business owners and industries that didn't previously need security who are experiencing some impacts in their corridors, and they're trying to figure out how they can manage those costs. I mean, it doesn't, seeing who's committing the crime doesn't stop it from happening. So how do you staff? How do you set up, the restaurant? How do you manage the door? So we're very focused on it, and I would say our Small Business Advisory Commission is amazing in sharing these concerns with us across industries. So, for example, gift card and credit card fraud and how that is affecting small businesses, and then we can be in conversation with other partners in the financial services sector about those things happening on the ground here. So partnership, and I expect we'll need to continue working on these issues in the year to come. I'm excited about it, and hopefully also in working in partnership with the Merchants Association, the Bodega Association, we will also problem solve with the input of those representatives.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, great point. And yeah, that might be another big reason why we're seeing a lot of the bigger stores take over on many different different matters or products that people sell. I mean, just imagine the smaller stores having to worry about issues related to retail theft, right? Not having the products to sell, how are they going to stay alive? Or equally important, having to spend additional monies to, for example, hire security. I've been seeing security guards in stores that, you know, in 30 plus years I had never seen. AutoZone and those types of businesses. So just one, you know, interesting to analyze the role that that's playing, the costs that come with retail theft. So I'll pass it on to Councilmember Palladino.
Thank you very much. I just want to say to you, thank you so very much. You are awesome. I mean, everything we've done and we've worked together on has been great. To address the issues that have been here today, what I really wish we could do is press a reset button, because everything changed during COVID. Everybody's lifestyle has changed since COVID. So we could address store vacancies to greed and to landlords who own the buildings that they're in, still requiring $15,000 to $30,000 a month rent. We could also blame COVID for the reasons why people now use Uber Eats and Grubhub, and that to the point of bodegas and my corner deli, Cherry Valley, that I go to every night for my half and half or bananas or whatever I need. You know, they are now no longer doing deliveries. They are doing Grubhub, which takes a big percentage of their money. And this is a real battle we are up against. How can we help the small business owner, the mom and pop? They don't have any money. They just don't. So when they go to apply for these business loans, the interest rates are through the roof. We're really in a situation here where I'm guilty, as everybody else is, about Amazon. They're at my house 3 times a week. They deliver my groceries now. I used to go to a grocery store every, you know, you're talking about hard goods, you're talking about, you know, clothing stores. I'm wearing right now. I ordered it online. It's pathetic. I'm as guilty as everybody else is, but we're in a situation where we have to figure this out, bring neighborhoods back, drum it up, that people in the neighborhoods, you are responsible for participating in keeping your small businesses alive. You, the people, are responsible for that. It's hard to resist that instant gratification. We, as workers, that what we do for a living, we don't often have the time that we used to have. So to your point, I know you're doing everything that you can. I worry, I put my notes away, but you know, I see watch lists, that word bothers me. When I see one of the reasons why we closed our small business, and we had our business for 30 years, it was a landscaping business.
Yes.
One of the reasons why we closed it was because there was so many constraints being put on, regulations. And on top of regulations, It was choking us to death. And we need to watch what we do here, because we want to try to build small business back, not restrain it. So I want to thank you, and I'll be calling you on other things, and we'll talk personally about it. But there's a lot here that needs to be done, but personal responsibility is, I think, number one. So
Thank you so much, Councilmember.
Thank you very, very
I really
much.
appreciate the small business owners who are part of this council and are part of this committee, in addition to what you see on the ground. I mean, you're talking to your constituents every day, but that lived experience is amazing. I live in Brooklyn, in Prospect Lefferts Gardens, and I live across the street from a supermarket that was created with a fresh incentive in a redeveloped business. And my picture from the pandemic is the social distance line on the sidewalk heading into that supermarket. I mean, so the effective operation of businesses that provide critical goods and services for neighborhoods is also an aspect of resilience. And so we can't forget it. We need them around when things get hard for the city. Those neighborhood businesses provide the access we need.
Those are the ones who suffered.
That's right.
When COVID was happening, and I'll never forgive this, ever. They left Target open. They left Home Depot open. They left all these major chain stores open while we had a corner florist. 30 years in business gone. We watched, they killed small business by leaving Home Depot open and these big chain stores open. When the corner hardware store, gone, because we were not allowed to go to them. They were not allowed to stay open. Restaurants were closed, or they had to sign a book. I mean, come on, give me a break. But let's stick with, forget the restaurants, they're doing fine. Let's stay with the small guy, the little guy. And they killed the little guy. COVID killed small business. And we have to figure out a way to bring it back. I don't know how we're going to do that because now we're way into this. And I don't know, whatever we could do we got to work together and figure this out because every problem has a solution.
Agreed.
And we just got to figure that out.
Thank you, Council Member.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Councilmember Palladino, for those questions and comments. Yeah, it seems like, by the way, we're hearing about regulatory compliance, and then we shifted quickly to vacancy, but I have a few more questions on vacancies on that same issue. So vacancies and also technology. Are we taking any steps to make sure that small businesses could take advantage of the different technologies that we have available? And I guess on the issue of vacancy, this perfect example is not only Amazon versus the other stores, but also just thinking about the taxi industry, Uber, Lyft versus those smaller mom and pop taxi companies. It seems like Uber just fully took over for the most part from a year to the next. And due to that one single factor, the fact that the smaller companies didn't have good access to technology, something as simple as being able to call a cab through your phone. So, and that would make a great hearing, a future hearing, but just curious, any steps we're taking to...
Councilmember, you can't expect me to endorse my oversight hearing topics. This is... That's tough. That's a tough one. No, but in answer to your question regarding, we do provide Business Solution Center courses. I mean, we provide hundreds of courses every year, and many of them are focused on marketing, including digital marketing. And I think, this is also an area of change. Small businesses used to want support launching their own websites. Does that continue to be the most important thing, or is it your Google Maps profile? Is it, how you might appear in a delivery app? What is the most efficient investment in order to create access to folks who want to find you on the internet? I think we have to continually innovate. If we want to serve entrepreneurs in a way, we have to be entrepreneurial. So we're a city agency, but we can't be static, and we are constantly trying to learn and adapt our work in that way. But absolutely, we are trying to educate businesses about digital marketing. We are also directly connecting them to Link NYC. For example, I think earlier this week, Link NYC celebrated its 10th year. We do courses through our business solution centers and through our programs to connect business owners, which include brick and mortar businesses and those who operate their businesses virtually, could be an author, home-based businesses, to the marketing on those Link NYC kiosks. And they've done a fabulous job of creating free access to marketing on those beautiful screens that cost the business owners nothing, and it's also a very easy interface. So for small business owners, they can see the immediate impact of an investment of time, if not money, in marketing. Have the clients who customers who come in and say, I saw you on Linked NYC, and they're even further improving that service this year by allowing business owners to add, additional unique features for their business in QR codes so they can track conversion from those screens. So those are some of the ways we're supporting small business owners using technology. Also webinars on search engine optimization for small businesses, and we'll continue working to adapt our work in that way.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the information. Back to regulatory compliance now. So one of the bills we're hearing is Councilmember Narcise's bill to study the costs related to maintaining and opening up a business. Can you explain your position on that? and whether you have any recommendations on the bill. I know earlier you mentioned that it would be a lot, but just curious, are you supportive, but you're open to modifications, or?
Well, I'm supportive of this committee and your focus on small businesses. We're one team as far as I'm concerned. In terms of the city regulatory costs, so the cost for permits and licenses, both initial and renewal licenses, we already provide that information, and it's available to small businesses on the My City Business Portal. I tested it myself last night because I don't like to come to hearings and then be embarrassed. So you use a little search icon, you put in barber. You want to open a barber shop? The first page that comes up tells you the licenses and permits and the fees associated with them. You want to open a salon, same thing. You want to open a grocery store. That information on those costs, those regulatory costs that the city imposes. The bill goes much further. The bill asks us to look at costs related to small business operations. And those are as vast as the types of businesses, neighborhoods, commercial districts, commercial properties in the city. And I'm not confident that we have the right source of data to report on that. I read your committee report, again, because I'm a nerd. And I read all the footnotes in your report. And I read this great study that ANHD did in 2019. About small business tenant harassment. And, I'm interested in the design of that study and how many businesses they surveyed. And I believe the insights that are reported on in the full study came from survey responses from less than 100 businesses, right? So we serve businesses at scale through our services. We have a lot of insight based on that service delivery, but when we're looking at very small numbers of businesses, for example, accessing the commercial tenant harassment law, it's hard, I think, and perhaps unwise to draw conclusions about citywide policy or investments from such small inputs. And so since there is so much diversity in small business operational costs, we'd be looking at very narrow groups of businesses and then trying to draw large conclusions. And I think analytically, it's too complex. So we can absolutely provide insight and do provide insight for small business owners in regulatory costs, but the operational costs are, I believe, so diverse that the study would be so ambitious, and I'm not sure that the results would be usable and reliable. Does that make sense? Kind of?
Kind of,
A
I
little
guess.
bit. I'm trying. I'm also being honest.
All right, so I guess putting aside the full thorough program or study analyzing everything, if you were to guess, based on all the time that you've taken speaking with small business owners and researching the issue, what would be some of the highest costs that stand out related to opening a small business?
Yeah,
Any 2 or 3
construction.
items?
It's the renovation of the space to operate the business. I think the period between when a business signs a commercial lease and they can actually open their doors is a very risky business, right? They've got a lot of outlays, a lot of costs, and no income from operating the business. And so that's why we focus on helping them understand what the processes are, sequence them, help to liaison with the regulatory agencies so they can get that DOB inspection, they can get that FDNY inspection, they can work with the utility company to get the account established and get the gas connected so that they're able to open and begin earning money. We know and have heard from our Small Business Advisory Commission and many small businesses, our bids, our chambers of commerce, that small business insurance costs are increasing significantly, and we have seen it in our service delivery. Right now, we have a grant program, our business preparedness program. It allows businesses to better understand their risks of either coastal or infrastructure flooding, and then provides an implementation grant to help them improve those risks. And we look at their level of insurance and whether or not they're underinsured, and we are seeing a higher level of underinsurance and complete uninsurance in that program this year than we saw in our entire delivery of the Hurricane Sandy grant and loan program. We're hearing it from nightlife businesses, F&B businesses, our industry partnerships. We know that there are concerns about insurance costs, and those leave small businesses vulnerable in the case of an emergency. So that will definitely be a focus of greater learning for us this year. We raised it recently in a roundtable with Senator Gillibrand, and the insurance industry itself is going through significant changes. We see that in the California wildfires, et cetera, but the impact on the ground here in New York City for small businesses is very significant and troubling.
Okay, and on the issue of opening up a business, I know you mentioned permits and renovations. Any city-related processes that you've seen delay the opening of a business, further creating economic issues for that new upcoming business? Recently, I heard about, FDNY, for example, permits and inspections delaying processes and.
Yeah, I would say every business owner comes to us with a concern or a need, but they really span the small business regulatory agencies. I don't know that there's a particular issue where where we think something is broken. If we were observing that in our client services, we work consistently with the regulatory agencies. They really are our partners. So for example, all of the members of our NYC Best team receive training from the regulatory agencies on their rules and processes so that we can give up-to-date advice to businesses. Many of our compliance advisors are former inspectors themselves, and we are in constant dialogue with the regulatory agencies, which themselves, have a charter-mandated mission, but they also appreciate the importance of small businesses to the city. They're New Yorkers too, right? And to our economy and to this administration. So I'm not aware of a concentration of challenges with a particular agency's processes. And Natasha's shaking her head. She manages that team and oversees that work, and also helps to manage the Small Business Advisory Commission. No, I can't point to that, council member. Chair Felice.
Cool. Want to make sure we hear from the Chambers of Commerce and the BIDS and the other small businesses that are giving us testimony today, so I'll shorten up the list of questions. Briefly, the legal assistance program that we have with the Lawyers Alliance for New York. How much funding is available for that program? How many CBOs have engaged? What's outreach like? Who's responsible for handling the neighborhoods at sbsnyc.gov email, which is attached to the program? And also, what are the types of legal assistance provided?
So I believe you're referring to a legal assistance program that's offered to community-based nonprofits, not small businesses. So,
Right, yes.
This is our neighborhood development division, and their core strategy is to work with the neighborhood and commercial district focused nonprofit entities that help to create vibrant, thriving commercial districts. So we provide this program to help those CBOs be sure that they're operating in compliance, that they're acting appropriately in their role as employers, that they have access to legal consultation so that they can work effectively as partners with the city and achieve their missions. So that program is not directly for small business. It's kind of for these small business intermediaries, and it's a small program. I think the contract is something like less than $50,000 a year.
What's the total funding for that program?
That's it.
$50,000.
That's it, yes. And so those nonprofits can, they can have a brief telephone consultation with the legal services provider, or they can have like a deeper review, say, of, manuals or policies to see if they're in compliance.
Is that headcount one person?
Say again?
The headcount? What's the 50K? Is it just the program, or is it just for one person?
No, that is not our PS. It's managed within our neighborhood development division. Staff oversee that program and other citywide programs to support CBOs. The $45,000 goes to the Lawyers Alliance for them to provide that service to nonprofits. And I think last year we served about 60, little more than 60 nonprofits through the service. 60 nonprofits. So it's not nearly the scale of CLA, and it's also not small business clients. We think it's important. The nonprofits, think it's important, and we're glad we can offer it, but it is a smaller program.
Okay, a few questions about the commercial lease assistance program. Really important program, making sure that, especially given that when it comes to commercial tenants, most of their rights are in the lease, and that's it, who's entitled to renewal, the rent increases, if landlord could increase, generally yes, also who makes repairs, and et cetera, so very important program. According to the FY24 report, most of the businesses were very small businesses, 0 to 2 employees. So what do most of these businesses seek help with, and also what does that type of help say about the businesses? Are they looking for help starting up the businesses, maintaining the business, and also how do they generally hear about the program?
Thank you, Council Member. So in the commercial lease assistance programs, most clients want a lease review, but that can be an existing lease, or it may be a lease that's been presented to them for execution where they want support understanding or negotiating the terms of the lease before they make a decision about whether or not to sign. We do have some clients that present with concerns about tenant harassment or some type of breach of contract by the landlord. That's about 8% of the cases in the program. We have some clients who want to get out of a lease, and perhaps the terms in the lease for how to end the lease, are not in line with their current resources, and they want support exiting a lease or negotiating an exit from a lease. Other types of matters would be lease renewals, lease amendments, or subletting a lease, or understanding if they should take a lease as a sublessee. And then we do have some small number of cases that are, I have an unwritten and oral agreement with my landlord, and the terms are shifting, or there's some challenge with an oral lease agreement. So those are the types of matters that we're tracking in CLA.
And who's responsible for outreach, and how do businesses generally learn about this program?
We are responsible for outreach. My agency, my central outreach team, our marketing team, and we do it in partnership with our business solution centers, and like I said, offering the workshops and clinics about commercial leasing issues is also a way to increase awareness. But anytime our field-based teams are in the work, we're cross-selling. We're cross-selling all of our programs. NYC Best is on a commercial corridor to visit a particular business to do a compliance advisement. They're also going to visit other businesses on the corridor and leave our collateral and business cards. If we see a place where a business, there's suddenly paper on the windows because a new business is coming, if you see that, call me. We really want to connect with those businesses during that phase to accelerate the process until they get to opening day and provide these services. So again, we get a lot of referrals from 311 as well, but also from our outreach and marketing and our vendor zone efforts.
Okay, and what has been the feedback from the small business community and also the legal service providers on this issue? And also, what's data that we analyze related to the services we provide?
We provide, or we send all consumers of our business services a brief survey. Once they've completed the service, we call it the customer sentiment survey or the business sentiment survey. And we track results for the program. So for the CLA program, over 90% of survey respondents report satisfaction with the program. And we also ask if they would recommend the program to other business owners, and they do that. We get referrals from satisfied clients in the program as well.
Okay, and one final question on that program. So we have two providers that provide legal services under that program, right? More or less?
We have one.
Two boroughs, sorry.
We have one vendor who provides the commercial lease assistance program citywide, and they have one subcontractor that supports them in that citywide service delivery.
Okay. And generally, communities in Brooklyn and Manhattan have been the communities that have reached out the most for those types of services.
I think Manhattan and Brooklyn? Yes.
Any reason why it's these two boroughs and not other boroughs? And also, where are these providers slash subcontractors located? Brooklyn and Manhattan, right?
Where are their offices located? I mean, I honestly don't know.
I think
But
Brooklyn,
they
Manhattan.
provide this service at scale citywide. And we have never had a challenge getting coverage, you know, in the Rockaways, in the Bronx, by this vendor. So I do believe they're able to effectively provide a citywide service. The distribution of service delivery generally matches the distribution of small businesses in the city, with most businesses located in Manhattan. And also we see high levels of vacancy and small business turnover and challenges in Manhattan. So I think it makes sense that some of those are requesting the support of the program and utilizing the service. In Brooklyn, we also see high new small business creation. But we do attempt to reach clients citywide. I mean, this is we really plan the outreach of our, the rollout of new services to reach LMI communities, to establish new partners and work with them. So this is an area of our work we want to further improve. I don't believe, though, that there is unmet demand for the service among Bronx businesses. And if that is the case, we will work to close that gap.
Okay, yeah, and when we're talking about programs like this one, I'm always thinking about communities in the Bronx, communities that are obviously very disadvantaged, not only the people that live there, but also people that do business there, a lot of challenges. So, programs like this one is really important, making sure that everybody has access. But access is one thing, and, easy access, having these tools at your fingertips, that's another case. So I'll be interested in just thinking about ways we can potentially have a provider in the Bronx just to make sure that people don't have just general access, but making sure that our small businesses in disadvantaged communities have access in their fingertips, which is obviously something that would be very beneficial to needy communities. So yeah, look forward to chatting about that offline.
Thank you, Chair Felice. So we do operate our network of business solution centers citywide, including BSC in the Bronx, and we think that's really important to provide a physical location. Of course, we deliver a lot of services online, but we do have a brick and mortar location, a walk-in service for any business owner, and we do operate them in every borough. So that is also an entryway for business owners to connect with all of our central services, then the business education and legal consultation resources through those centers as well.
Okay, some final questions related to vendors, and then I guess we'll conclude this part of the testimony so we can hear from the small businesses and bids and chambers of commerce. A few questions related to vendors. Is SBS the lead agency in conducting street vendor outreach and education? Our vendors are smallest businesses.
I mean, I like to think we're a lead. I mean, we're leaders. There's no formal assignment of responsibility that I'm aware of for small business outreach, but by working closely with advocates in the street vendor community, by working to inform and drive street vendors toward our business solution centers, and by managing a citywide outreach team that is consistently doing on-the-ground research. I think we show leadership in this area. However, even the regulatory agencies do attempt to educate vendors and other small businesses about their work. DOB, has well, I guess DOB is the one that's probably the least relevant to street vendors, but I know DSNY and SBS have worked together on street vendor education projects. We certainly work with DOHMH very closely to increase awareness and access to the licenses and permits that street vendors may need to operate. And we participated with them in a mailing also about the supervisory licenses when those licenses became available. So I think their citywide commitment to spreading the word and education to street vendors, but there are also persistent and systemic challenges. I would say that, we try to show leadership in outreach, but we don't have a formal assigned responsibility for that outreach.
Okay, talk to us about the New York City Business Express Services team. What are the goals of the program? How many staff members are part of the program? Also, how many compliance advisors under the program, and small business advocates.
Okay, for this is fun because Natasha's been sitting here this whole time.
Yes, the time
And
has
Natasha
come.
is the assistant commissioner who leads this work, and so she's pointing me to the place in my binder, but I'd almost rather her talk a bit about the work of the NYC BEST team because she does an excellent job of leading that work for SPS.
Right.
Good afternoon. So NYC BEST is focused on helping business owners navigate government, and what that means is helping them understand all the city agencies they'll have to interact with along the course of opening and operating their business. We do that through one service, one team, two services. That's the small business advocates and the compliance advisors. The small business advocates are dedicated to helping business owners understand their license and permits, how much that'll cost, renewing, what's the sequence of renewing your permits and licenses. And then compliance advisors are kind of a subservice to storefront business owners who are looking to get somebody into their space and understand what exactly it is that they would be, get a violation for in the event that they do get a violation or that they could get a violation. And at the end of that service, they're able to get a checklist of common violations that they may receive a violation for, so they can understand how to correct it, and they provided that education. So we do have 13 members of the team. That includes an executive director and a director. There are 6 compliance advisors and 5 small business advocates.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the very specific information. How many businesses were, how many of the businesses assisted were street vendors? Let's say in the last 2 years or 2.
We
If there were any.
do not track street vendors. The service is mainly for storefronts. But if we do see street vendors who need some kind of advice or ask a question, we do assist along the way.
How many total businesses that you assisted, regardless of the type of business they are?
Total businesses, in fiscal year 24, last fiscal year, we serviced almost 3,000.
3,000 businesses. And what were the general topics that you assisted them on?
The topics range from understanding where to place your fire extinguisher to utility support. So if there's an issue with utilities, we assist with that as well. We help them understand if they've received a violation, how to manage that process through oath. So there's a variety of services. We connect them to services to our BSCs, the Business Solution Centers. But mainly the top 3, I would say, are permits and licenses and inspection support, as well as government regulation guidance, just understanding, what a regulation is and why they need to comply with it. And then the actual compliance consultations are the top 3.
Any specific support for street vendors that you provided that you could, that stand out?
Through NYC BEST in your community, we do provide some support where we see the need. I will say we've partnered with DEP in the past. For example, they did some outreach just to get to vendors information about things like, where to dispose of their grease and their oil and the chemicals, things like that. So we do partner with other agencies where there is education necessary for street vendors.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. We also have one more thing. I would like to talk about or mention that we have a boot camp. The Small Business Advisory Commission had a recommendation 2 years ago, and we launched the NYC BEST Boot Camp. It has 9 modules. One of those modules is directly targeted to outdoor vending, and we actually had our last module for that today.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions? All right, no more questions. Thank you so much for all the information. Thank you for joining us today, and also thank you for all the good work you do supporting our small businesses. Look forward to continuing working together.
Thank you. This was fun.
It was.
I like talking with you. I wish I could stay to hear our advocates. I'll keep a member of my team here. Some of the flurry of notes were things I'm missing to be part of your important conversation. So my apologies for leaving now, but I'll keep a member of my team here.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
And that the hearing related to technology stuff, that's a promise.
Wait, what?
All right, I now open the hearing for public testimony. I remind members of the public that this is a government proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent at all times. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant-at-Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. If you wish to speak at today's hearing, please fill out an appearance card with the Sergeant-at-Arms and wait to be recognized. When recognized, you will have 2 minutes to speak on today's oversight hearing topic, legal and regulatory challenges affecting small businesses, or on any of the following bills attached to the hearing, including Intro 449, Intro 1082, and Introduction 1132. If you have written statement or additional written testimony you wish to submit for the record, please submit a copy of that testimony to the Sergeant-at-Arms. You may also email written testimony to testimony@council.nyc.gov within 72 hours of the close of this hearing. Audio and video recordings will not be accepted. For in-person panelists, please come up to the table once your name has been called. I'll now call the first panel, two of them which are not with us currently. Lisa Soren from the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, Randy Pierce, Jessica Walker, Lindsay Vigoda, and Ian Stern. I think they might have left.
There's a chair in the center.
All right, I think we could start with the Bronx Chamber of Commerce. We'll have everyone testify, and then we'll ask questions to the panel. So yeah, we could start with the Bronx Chamber of Commerce. Lisa Soren, great to see you.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you, Chairman Felix, sorry, it's a long day, and Majority Leader Farias. My name is Lisa Soren, President of the Bronx Chamber of Commerce. I thank the Council for ensuring the challenges faced by small businesses are of paramount concern when considering new legislation, particularly businesses in the outer boroughs, which are too often forgotten. I would be remiss if I did not take this opportunity to highlight the importance of ensuring continued funding for the Small Business Resource Network. In the upcoming budget cycle, this crucial program provides free, personalized support to help businesses grow and thrive, and to date has reached over 53,000 businesses across the city. The Chamber is pleased to support Intro 1082, which requires SBS to conduct a study of many fees and costs required to start and maintain a small business, with the intention of identifying ways to reduce and offset same. The Chamber strongly supports Intro 1132, which requires SBS to determine most common type of regulatory violations issued to businesses in each community district. Your bill proposes a helpful solution that needs to be implemented swiftly. Many believe that certain commercial corridors are disproportionately targeted, and this is a needed step towards ensuring fairer enforcement practices. We also have reviewed Intro 0449, which requires SBS to establish a commercial landlord watch list. It is introduced by Councilmember Stevens, who has been an unwavering advocate for the Bronx and our small businesses, and we sincerely appreciate her continued care and attention to the challenges faced by entrepreneurs and property owners in our communities. Done?
You use another
thank
20
you.
seconds to conclude.
While we recognize and support the intention of the bill to weed out bad actors, landlords, and ensure safe, fair conditions for tenants, We do have concerns about some of the bill's language and its potential impact on small commercial property owners. We would ask that this bill language be further clarified, including specific parameters and definitions, clarity on enforcement, transparency, and a commitment to due process. We look forward to working with the council to ensure the needs of both tenants and property owners are met in a fair and balanced way. Thank you for this opportunity today, and thank you for focusing on the Bronx.
Thank you so much. Now we'll hear from Jessica Walker.
There we go. Hi. Thank you. Today I really want to strongly support Intro 1132. Today we released an issue brief that tried to look at what's happening on the ground. And it shows that summonses issued by the Department of Consumer Affairs and Worker Protections jumped by 171% between fiscal year 2023 and fiscal year 2024, 171%. In addition, the amount of small business fines collected have been increasing and are higher now than they were at pre-pandemic levels. We don't know why this is going up, particularly when Mayor Adams has implemented real measures to try to bring down small business fines. Last September, when I asked the department, DCWP, for data that we could analyze, I was directed to the city's open data portal. That data was in such bad shape that the data expert that I conferred with said it really was not useful unless there was a ton of cleanup that, of course, would take a lot of time and money. So we know very little about where these business fines are being issued and for what. And if we do know more about it, organizations like ours and many others can send our outreach staff to the area to provide education and help businesses comply with the laws. It sounds like from the testimony today that SBS does not have the capacity to do this, but you might want to consider going straight to the source and requiring DCWP and the health department to start releasing their data in a way that is actually useful, and some of the things that are outlined in the legislation. Lastly, I just want to let you know we do a lot of the outreach with the Small Business Resource Network, and the top 5 business needs that we have identified out there right now are technology, financing, marketing, business strategy, and navigating city and state agencies. Happy to always work with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Lindsay Vigoda.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Lindsay Vigoda, and I'm the New York Director of Small Business Majority, a national small business organization with offices many places, but especially here right in New York City. We empower our diverse entrepreneurs to build a thriving and equitable economy. I'm happy to be here today in support of Intro 1132. This is a crucial step to support small businesses across the city with tools they need to thrive by providing transparency, guidance, and ultimately a game plan for small business outreach to avoid these fines. Right now, small businesses across New York City are struggling to navigate a confusing, burdensome, and seemingly ever-changing landscape of regulations. This often makes it difficult for well-intentioned local businesses to be in compliance, resulting in unexpected penalties that affect their bottom lines. This ultimately slows business down, which is harmful to our entire community. Most business owners in our network have fewer than 10 employees, if they have employees at all. Their expertise is in their product or their service, not in tracking compliance issues. And what I've seen in my career as a small business advocate is that small businesses don't often have the legal or human resource systems to help track these constantly changing landscapes of mandatory rules and regulations. This leaves well-intentioned entrepreneurs at risk of being misinformed and subject to fines that affect their ability to maintain and grow their business. This city thrives on diverse and local small businesses. They are the heart of each borough and the character of each neighborhood. Running a business is already difficult enough, and we need to create a community and a system that allows them to remain compliant and thrive. So we must create more transparency so we as advocates and you as local officials can understand how fines are being implemented and how we can work together to support our entrepreneurs. Small Business Majority is very excited to be here and work with you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next is Ian Stern.
Good afternoon, Chair Felice and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Ian Stern. I'm representing Justin Rogers, President and CEO of the Greater Jamaica Development Corporation, or GJDC. Mr. Rogers sends his regrets for being unable...
Sorry, we could reset. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Mr. Rogers sends his regrets for being unable to attend, and I'm honored to present this testimony on his behalf. GJDC strongly supports your proposed bill, Intro 1132, to enhance fine transparency for small businesses. The legislation directly addresses a critical concern shared by the business community and aligns perfectly with GJDC's mission to foster economic growth and opportunity in Southeast Queens. As an active participant in the 5 Boroughs Jobs Campaign, we understand firsthand the challenges small businesses face navigating New York City's intricate regulatory landscape. The current system of fines and regulations often lacks clarity, creating an environment where unintentional noncompliance is common. These resulting penalties disproportionately impact small businesses, hindering their operations, growth, and ultimately their contribution to our city's economy. For over 50 years, GJDC has served the small businesses of Southeast Queens. Through this extensive experience, we've consistently witnessed regulatory challenges, especially fines, as a major source of stress and financial strain for business owners. This bill offers a practical and much-needed solution. The proposed annual review of fines levied on businesses citywide is a crucial step. This data-driven approach will provide valuable insights into trends, identify disproportionately impacted sectors and neighborhoods, and enable targeted interventions and support. This analysis will not only inform policy decisions, but also guide resource allocation to where it's most needed. We believe that fostering a supportive environment for compliance is paramount. Increased transparency is essential to building trust between small businesses and the city, empowering them with the knowledge and resources necessary to navigate regulations confidently. This bill recognizes the fundamental role small businesses play in our neighborhoods and our city's economic vitality. By passing this legislation, we demonstrate our commitment to ensuring these vital businesses receive fair treatment and the support they deserve. GJDC is eager to partner with you, the council, and other stakeholders to advance this important reform. By working together, we can safeguard and strengthen small businesses across all 5 boroughs, creating a more vibrant and equitable economic landscape for all New Yorkers. Thank you for your leadership and dedication to this important issue.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your testimony. Quick question for all of you, and I guess answer only if you want to and if you have information related to it. What are fines that you hear about in the commercial corridor that you work in that are constantly negatively affecting the small businesses that you work with? I guess if there are any fines that come to mind. Inspections, sanitation, well, not inspections, sanitation, loud music for the nightlife, establishments.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of the above, right? They come to us when they're looking for an advocate to help them. So we do see everything. But part of the wanting to get this data is to really see, you know, if what we're seeing anecdotally, we might be missing a whole bunch. I mean, that's why we really need this bill, as you know.
I think Department of Consumer Affairs and Workers Protection and Department of Buildings, top, with Health Department followed right behind. But part of your legislation, which for us is even more important, is the fact that corridors keep hitting the same corridors over and over again within weeks of each other. And that's probably one of the biggest concerns we have, because we try to work with them, send out our outreach team, but the constant pinpointing of corridors is concerning. And it speaks exactly to your bill, where it's happening, why it's happening, what kind of bills are taking place.
Thank you for the question, and I echo everything Jessica said, but I think something to consider is businesses who are involved in our groups often are folks who are more engaged, and we are missing a huge population of small business owners. So I think that's why it's so crucial, because this data really will highlight where we're missing anecdotally, but I can't echo enough what y'all said, all the complaints and above.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and for your testimony. next, we'll hear from the New York City Hospitality Alliance, Andrew Ridgie, Robert Bookman, and Max Bookman. All right, good to see you all. You could
Nice to
start
see
with-
you.
Nice to see you.
All right. I'll be fast. I'm on the clock. Andrew Ridgie, New York City Hospitality Alliance. We represent restaurants, bars, and nightclubs. First thing I'd say, thank you. You've been a huge advocate of small businesses. I'd say one thing is the city needs to send a message. When there's joint committee hearings, getting business owners here, like we want council members to be able to hear this. So we hope you take everything back to your colleagues and really push. I'm going to hit 6 points, and my colleagues are going to get into detail. Community board and 311 reforms. Community boards, and I'm on one, have become too bureaucratic. There's different applications. It creates a lot of different challenges for small businesses. 311 reforms, a lot of bogus complaints that could result in violations. People making bogus complaints should have penalties. The scaffolding. I know the council's been working on these bills. I'm not sure exactly where they are, but when scaffolding goes up, small business revenue goes down. Get these bills passed. There can also be more reform. Labor law compliance. Before, the commissioner was talking about the commercial lease review support they provide. There's lots of labor laws, huge liability, very complex. Labor lawyers are very expensive. Provide complimentary labor law consultations for small businesses to comply with all the changing laws, which is a huge headache, huge problem. My colleague Rob Bookman's an expert in outdoor dining. He's going to present 6 different reforms for the new outdoor dining program, making it better, more inclusive, and build on the good aspects of the new program compared to the pre-pandemic sidewalk cafe law. We're talking about reducing fines. Easy. We don't need all the data, it's good to see, but every single violation that does not provide or present an immediate hazard to the public or to workers should allow for a warning or a cure period. It's very simple. You could significantly reduce them. When it comes to other things like taxes, repeal the commercial rent tax. I have information in the testimony. There's also this New York City only liquor license tax. It was repealed for a portion of the pandemic. It's a couple $100 a year, but it's a couple $100 a year. It helps small businesses. Permanently repeal that. Streamline permitting and licensing so businesses can get open and expand faster. And then my colleague Max is going to talk about fixing Oath's broken remote hearing system. So, that was 6 stuff.
19 seconds, come on.
Now, I'd say, I think it would be great to be able to get a lot of small business owners and talk about different solutions. You know, we know what the problems are, and these 6 things or 7 items that I present in my testimony, that's things we know will work, we know will make changes. They're things that have been developed over years and years of seeing the problems. So we just need them to be turned into bills and get them passed, and thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm Rob Bookman. I don't speak as fast as Andrew, so if you'll give me an extra 30 seconds. Mostly want to talk about sidewalk cafe reform and what needs to be done there. But before that, I want to say that 30 some odd years now, ever since I left city government, Department of Consumer Affairs, I've been testifying before this committee and this council on small business issues. And we are much better than we were decades ago. No question about it. You people are now talking the talk and you're walking the walk. But as Andrew said, there's a lot to do, and there's a lot more that can be done. The cost of doing business is too damn high, the fines are too damn high, the regulatory burdens is too damn high. And there are specific things we can do to address all of that. Sidewalk cafes, we work together with the council and 2 administrations to come up with a new permanent cafe law. It was supposed to be faster, easier, less expensive, and more democratic, meaning 5 boroughs, not just focused on Manhattan like the old law was. It has failed. We're going to need, when it comes up to 1 year in this spring, and we're going to see the failures on the ground, we're going to need to sit together and address why it failed and what we can do to change it. Why do I say it's failed? Because only about 20 to 25% of the restaurants that participated in the emergency program even bothered filing applications. That's pretty shocking. And we know that hundreds of those
are going to be denied because they don't meet the new standards. Other hundreds we have already found out from DOT never finished their application because they're now finding out it's going to be so expensive, especially in roadway, to take down dining and put it back up. And these businesses that they've had on their marketplace are way too expensive. There's not more than a handful of rich Manhattan restaurants that can afford it. So they may have filed, maybe one of the 2,600 establishments that filed, but we know hundreds of them are not going through with the process at all. So we started with 1,400 licensed sidewalk cafes under the old cumbersome Manhattan-centric law. I don't know that we're going to wind up with many more establishments than that, and that is a failure. We need, quickly, give me 30 seconds, we need year-round roadway dining options, which will make it more affordable. 38% of the people in the survey, we surveyed 500 restaurants who did not apply, asked them why. 38% said because they needed a year-round option. Another 40% said the clearances, the rules that DOT passed were too restrictive compared to the old rules, and so they weren't able to get enough tables and chairs to bother the expense of applying. The application process is the third thing that people cited. 31% said it was too cumbersome, it was online only. Lots of small immigrant business owners in the boroughs could not figure it out. They didn't know how to upload and download and give pictures, and there was no in-person option. There's no excuse for not having an in-person option for a small business owner to come in with their application papers, have it looked over. Scaffolding is how DOT is interpreting scaffolding is hurting more cafes, and the processing time is way too long. You guys and your staff work with us to try to reduce the 6 months that it took under the old law, and we thought we had improvements, but it's just not turning out that way. So we need to work on it, both the roadway and the sidewalk, so it is what we hoped it to be. Not just Manhattan-centric, but everywhere, and not just big restaurants, but mom and pops as well.
Thank you.
Not bad. Pretty quick.
Thank you. Max Bookman, I'm an attorney with the Alliance, but in my private practice I also represent small businesses in a number of matters, including summons violations. And we've been talking about business fines. I want to talk about an aspect of business fines that is maybe going unnoticed, which is a problem, and it has to do with oath. The Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings, where all the summonses get adjudicated. About 2 years ago, Oath made a small but incredibly consequential change, which is driving up business fines. And it has to do with a cumbersome and confusing process related to challenging those summonses. Before COVID, it was easy. You got a summons, there was a date on the summons, you showed up to court on your date, and you could challenge your summons at a hearing, or you could pay the fine right then if you wanted to. During COVID, understandably, they had to move to a remote hearing system. Understandable. Since COVID, they've kept the remote hearing system, which has a lot of convenience to it. Remote hearings are good for small business owners, but these summonses are filled with fine print, and it's not made clear to small business owners that you are, required to have a remote hearing. So people are still showing up to Oath and being turned away because they said, oh, sorry, you're supposed to have a remote hearing. But B, more importantly, Oath has created this extra step where when you get a summons and you want to have a hearing, which must be remote, you've got to contact Oath in advance to schedule that hearing, in advance of the date on your summons. So if your summons says December 1st is your hearing date, if you call them on November 29th, they're going to tell you, sorry, it's too late. You were supposed to call earlier. So it's cumbersome and confusing. You get this tiny window between 3 to 7 days to schedule your hearing. And what we're seeing seems like a silly little thing, really in the weeds, but what we're seeing is a massive increase, at least anecdotally, in the number of defaults. People who want to go to a hearing and challenge their summons, but are unable to because they're basically locked out of the hearing. It's something that's deserving of oversight, and we think that if you request from Oath data on the number of default decisions since they enacted this new policy, we'd be shocked to see if it hasn't skyrocketed because of this. It's deserving of oversight.
And understand, defaults equals higher fines than even if you went to the hearing and were found guilty generally, because the ALJ has a certain amount of discretion. Many of the fines that you pass in statutes have a range. But a default is set by their regulation. So more defaults, more fines for small businesses, more frustration.
So what do you think would be the reasonable period for asking for that remote hearing?
It needs to be day of. That's how it was before COVID. There needs to be a way, and there's technology that allows this. This is not complicated technology to be able to log into your remote hearing on the day of the hearing. If it's printed on the summons that, February 1st is the date of your remote hearing, you need to be able to, on February 1st, be able to log in and have your hearing, not have to call no fewer than 7 days, but no less than 3 days in advance. It's just not
and you
working.
get a PIN, and then you have to. If you forget your PIN, you defaulted there. I mean, we're lawyers and representing people, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And we have clients come to us the day before saying, "I'm sorry it took so long, Mr. Bookman. I got this hearing tomorrow. Could you come to me with oath?" And we say, "It's too late. We had 3 days ago request a PIN, and now it's a default, and now you got to wait till you get the default, and then you got to make a motion to set aside the default, and if you know how to all do that, just to go around all again." So it's causing.
In outer borough businesses, we actually see it the most. Talk about Fordham Road. I mean, we have a lot of clients who we represent on Fordham Road, small businesses, sidewalk newsstands, things like that. And, the language is a barrier, even though the summonses have something in the bottom that says you can call a number to get it translated. What they see is they see a summons, they see a date, and they figure, okay, that's the date I have to deal with this. It's a small thing, it's deep in the weeds, but it really, really makes a difference.
Yeah.
And let me answer your question about fines from the other panel, if you don't mind. I have been for 10 years one of the city council appointees to the Health Department Advisory Board. And in preparation for this hearing, I asked them to give me the most recent fiscal year total amount of fines, so I could compare it to historical data. I hope to present it to you. And I'm on the Health Department Advisory Board as a city council appointee, and they still haven't gotten me the data. I do know that at the beginning of the Bloomberg administration, going back in time now, the annual fines for health department was $12 million a year. And that's when New York City still was one of the greatest, food places in the world. It really started hitting the fan by the end of his third term when it was $52 million a year for the same industry. You guys then started to pass a variety of laws, requiring lower fines and warnings and stuff like that. Last data I got which was pre-COVID, they were down to around $22 million a year of fines, which is still $10 million a year more than it was before. We get, as part of this advisory board, we meet 4 times a year, we get the top 10 violations. It was in the statute. They must present us. It's the same exact top 10 violations year after year, decade after decade, almost to the 10th of a percentage. There's something wrong there. Either in their education programs, or more likely that there are certain things that they give you fines for that are just endemic to operating a restaurant. It doesn't make you unsafe or unsanitary. It just means it is. So there's some water, underneath the dishwashing station. No kidding. That's a fine. That's points. On a hot day in the back of a restaurant, which is 20 degrees hotter than it is outside, somebody's drinking a glass of water. That's a fine because it wasn't on a little kid's sippy cup, There's all kinds of stuff like that that's built into the system that even if they're trying to cooperate, you're talking at $20 million a year fines out of the restaurant industry without saying, our industry certainly has no reputation in New York City as being unsafe.
Yep. And I think also if you want to look at the reports of the fine reform that you've done in the past, often the fines have a range, $200 to $1,000. And a lot of the reforms have reduced the maximum fine of say $1,000 to $750. And it sounds good, we're reducing fines, but I'd be very interested to look at those violations and how often they were even issuing the $1,000 fine. If they're issuing that same violation and it's $500 each time, you're not really reducing fines. You're saying you're reducing the top fine amount, but are you actually reducing fines? And that was a significant number of the violations in a couple of the different reform packages in the past. Maybe it's reduced a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised. And that's why the warning and the cure period. If it doesn't pose an immediate hazard to the health, you have 30 days to fix something, cure it, and then you don't get a fine.
Yeah.
That's how the state ag and markets does it with all the businesses they regulate. They come in, they see something wrong, they say, this is what's wrong, we'll be back in a week, 2 weeks, 30 days, it needs to be correct.
And the fire department even does that with a lot of things.
Okay, no, super informative. I'll make sure to take a hard look at all those issues. And I guess we'll continue chatting about those different topics.
One quick idea,
including
just
the
sitting
oath
here.
issue too.
One quick idea sitting here, because you were asking a lot of questions about how SBS does outreach, and you know, I was impressed, you know, how much they're trying. But it does seem to me that there are 3 city agencies that are the entry point for most small businesses going into business: Health Department, Consumer Affairs, and Buildings Department. I say probably 80% of small businesses, that's one of the agencies they're going to first. If you required those agencies, when at that first contact with a new small business, to provide all that SBS information about all the services that are available, you know, it might give them more exposure.
Yeah, okay, cool, sounds good. Thank you so much. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your testimony.
Thanks for
Thank you so
listening.
much for joining us today. All right, we have a third panel, and then we'll go to those that are joining us via Zoom. Noreen Maidas, Young Kim, and Andrea Tan. All right, whenever you're ready, we'll start with Noreen, and then Aya, and then Andrea.
Good afternoon, Council Chair. My name is Noreen Madas. I'm the founder and the Council Chair. My name is Noreen Madas, the founder and the Executive Director of the Canarsie Merchants Association. I am here to share comments directed towards the proposed bill 1082 proposed by my council member. The Canarsie Merchants Association is commerce plus community. We're on a mission to continue to support the local merchants as well as entrepreneurs and the community. We were formed through the out of pandemic partnerships, and as a result, we continue to provide services to the not only to the merchants as well as the community. The Canarsie Merchants Association's advocacy continues with identifying services to assist local business owners, MWBEs, with the opportunity to start as well as to maintain a business in Canarsie, Brooklyn, and beyond. As we've discussed here, businesses starting during COVID have been met with so many different challenges. Business startup costs can just initially start with about $10,000. That's a huge investment that businesses are investing in getting their business started. So a review of the initial fees and costs to start a business in New York City is needed at this time. And I certainly agree with the last person that spoke, and it's something I've been thinking about for a while. If we were able to reach business owners prior to even starting or even as they're beginning to start, that will certainly make a difference. Our initial funding is really coming through the generosity of Councilmember Narcisse. Thank you. Which has allowed us with partners as Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, small business grant, SBS grants that have allowed us to do this work. Partners like Volts have allowed us to be able to reach these small businesses. In terms of outreach, in Canarsie, we have 326 small businesses. We also are projected by 2027 to generate about $2.6 billion. That's in a CDA report that was done through funding through SBS. So we have serious work that needs to be done. What we're really looking for is to be able with additional funding, to be able to reach. We've been having monthly meetings for the past 4 years. We've been having networking events, bringing entrepreneurs and business owners from Canarsie and beyond. So I want to thank you just for the opportunity to allow the Canarsie Merchants Association just to be able to sit, to hear, to understand, and to learn.
Thank you. Thank you for all the work you do over there in Canarsie.
Thank you.
All right, next is Young Kim.
Thank you, Chair. Happy New Year.
Likewise.
Thank you for this opportunity to testify on the proposed commercial landlord watch list. My name is Young Kim, and I serve as the Director of Economic Empowerment at the Asian American Federation. Before I talk about Introduction 449, however, I'd like to also thank the Council for Introduction 1132, which we believe will bring transparency and fairness in enforcement of city regulations. As for Introduction 449, we believe this legislation will be an important first step in protecting our small businesses. Brick and mortar store owners cite rising rent and conflicts with their landlords as some of the most pressing challenges they face. This measure has the potential to provide much needed transparency and accountability, and we anticipate that it will have a positive impact in keeping business owners informed of their rights and protections. For decades, immigrant small business owners have played a crucial role in shaping the economy and cultural vibrancy of New York City. Yet despite their contributions, most of them do not know that they have rights as commercial tenants. They enter lease agreements with little to no legal guidance, and they trust landlords to act in good faith. This lack of awareness leaves them particularly vulnerable to predatory leasing practices and commercial tenant harassment. But more importantly, Chair, even when business owners are aware of their rights, they rarely pursue legal action against their landlords, and hence the data you heard from Commissioner Gross. Many fear retribution, including the possibility of losing their lease or facing rent hikes, but even those who have exited their lease also do not pursue legal action because they don't understand what are the rights that they have and how the city can protect them. They also are overly burdened by administrative burden and legal action costs, so we simply don't see enough people going into legal action. We believe the proposed commercial landlord watch list, while an important step forward, it needs to be paired with meaningful outreach and accessibility measures. Simply listing the names of bad actor landlords on the city website is not going to guarantee that the information reach those who need it most. Many immigrant business owners lack the English proficiency, digital literacy, or digital access to city resources necessary, and they will not be able to access this information that is going to give them protection. If I may take 30 seconds, Chair, I want to give 3 recommendations to City Council to consider. First of all, to support local small business organizations to conduct meaningful outreach about what are the tenants' rights that business owners should be protected of. And second, to establish an anonymous reporting mechanism for commercial tenant harassment so that many business owners who hesitate to come forward or pursue legal action still have an avenue to make sure that the city hears of the unfair treatment that they are facing. And thirdly, please consider expanding transparency by including a full list of affected commercial properties, as opposed to the current intro says only the commercial property that has been that has been flagged in the system will be listed by the landlords. We believe that if that landlord has multiple properties, like people who are looking into enter a lease with the same landlord should be able to look up the address and then be aware that this is somebody on the watch list. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is Andrea Tan.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Andrea Tan. I'm the director of the Microenterprise Project at Volunteers of Legal Service. We're a legal services nonprofit. We provide transactional legal services to small businesses. Based on our experience working with small business owners, we believe that the proposed bills will address critical challenges that entrepreneurs in New York City face and provide useful resources. First, the proposed analysis of the fees and costs to start and maintain a business would be a helpful tool. We see firsthand how regulatory and financial barriers overwhelm entrepreneurs. Legal fees, for instance, remain one of the most significant yet overlooked costs. Entrepreneurs frequently forego legal services to save money, which often results in costly mistakes, like improperly formed entities or poorly drafted contracts, including leases. Identifying these costs would help the city better address the financial hurdles that undermine small business growth. Involves states committed to offering free legal services to entrepreneurs who urgently need these services. Second, the introduction of a commercial landlord watch list would help address the power imbalance between commercial landlords and tenants by increasing transparency and accountability in the rental market. Unlike residential tenants, commercial tenants lack many legal protections, leaving them vulnerable to exploitative practices. Through our work, we have observed how inadequate lease agreements and untrustworthy landlords can lead to financial loss and business closures. This tool would provide small businesses with critical information to mitigate those risks and promote fairness in the commercial rental market. And finally, providing tailored regulatory compliance assistance in different languages would help businesses proactively address compliance challenges, alleviating a significant burden for small businesses, especially those without access to legal assistance. Collaboration with organizations like ours that already provide legal and compliance services would enhance the reach and impact of these efforts. Legal fees and compliance costs should not be insurmountable obstacles for small businesses, and by addressing these challenges with thoughtful policies and accessible resources, we can ensure that small business owners spend less time navigating regulatory and regulations and dealing with violations, allowing them to focus more on growing their businesses and create a more equitable and thriving small business ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your testimony. A quick question, same question that I asked earlier. Are there any specific fines that you continue to hear about negatively affecting small businesses in the area that you serve? And if you're not sure, that's fine.
Chair, I think there's a lot of businesses that are constantly being hit with the same issue that was not properly cured before. And there's a systematic issue where individuals are not aware how to cure their previous fines and tickets, and that is triggering more targeted search and more targeted areas sweep from the same agency. I think previously we've already heard a lot of comments about how it's impossible for especially immigrant businesses to navigate the online system. My clients are having the same issue as well. Another thing we are bracing for actually is also the charbroiler rule that is going to come to effect soon, I believe. And there has been very little, if any, outreach about this rule that's going to come into enforcement. And especially immigrant businesses who often do use many types of charbroilers are going to be impacted by this. And also, when there is a new rule that is being enforced, it's often that these rules trigger the most amount of tickets in particularly immigrant commercial corridors. So we're bracing for that.
Okay, so basically not anything related to the types of fines, but more like a repeat fine for the same issue, regardless of what the issue is.
Yes, that is the biggest issue. But also there are certain agencies that is especially difficult for business owners to deal with. Those who do safety-related enforcement, like DOB or FDNY, are particularly difficult. And it's difficult to also get feedback on what needs to be cured for them to, to cure the issue and not be dinged again for the same ticket. So again, there's a recurring violation tickets that they receive.
Thank you, Chair. I think that it depends on the industry. The fines could be different, but in the end, if a business owner doesn't have access to legal counsel to be able to understand what happened and they can cure on time, then they just don't do anything about it, and then the tickets accumulate, interest accumulate, and so they end up closing businesses because of that. So access to legal services is key, free legal services, and I don't think there's enough out there for everyone.
And to your knowledge, are the small businesses that you work with, are they aware of the different programs available, including, the commercial lease assistance, also the other legal assistance programs? Or yes and no, depending on the area.
Right. So part of the problem is that they're not aware. And this is why we're here as an association. A lot of business owners coming through COVID, especially in Canarsie, South Brooklyn, did not receive a lot of the support that we needed. I know we live in a community where there are a lot of single-family homes, but it's a large area. And then in terms of the commercial corridors, we're a transit desert. And so they didn't get, and a lot of business owners, are not really trusting. But I must say that over the last couple of years, we've been organizing for the past 5 years. The resources that we've received from SBS, from our local elected officials, from Volts, from the New York Business Solutions. It has made a tremendous difference. Our issue in Canarsie is because we didn't have a lot of support. Not that we didn't, but a lot of our businesses did not. And so that has created a problem. Outreach can make the difference, and we see with having monthly meetings, having networking events, it is making a difference. New York Business Solutions attend. We're partnering with SCORE, with their free resources that they can access.
Yes, I agree. It's very important to make it accessible and that people know that there are legal services out there. But the other issue is that even if they did know that we exist and they reach out, there's not enough, we don't have enough resources to support all of the businesses. So then at the end of the day, we can provide educational workshops, but we don't have enough resources to give one-on-one advice, which is what's actually valuable for the entrepreneurs.
On the positive side, I will say the SBS Best program is well received by individuals who have gone through the program and received consultation. They were able to prevent future tickets or bring up their sanitation grade. So kudos to SBS for that program. When it comes to the CLA, however, we believe two things are an issue to our community. One, the nature of my community tends to be they don't want to talk about legal issues in front of others. I'm sure it's not only an Asian community thing, but in particular when I'm doing outreach to our community members under the guidance of the funding eligibility and allowed activities, it doesn't allow for enough like private sessions or like communication with the legal support before they can actually like register, before they decide to enroll for the program. So that is one big hurdle that we experienced in past years when working with CLA. Secondly, when they learn that CLA does not actually allow for the legal advisors to represent them in court, it does become a very frustrating point where individual owners become, you know, what is the point of this then? Again, at the end of the day, I will not be suing my landlord because I can't afford it. So that is one of the biggest reasons why we don't see enough attention from the community members who obviously need the support.
And if I could just share in terms of a highlight, there was a gentleman who was thinking of opening up a restaurant, and he began to search online, and he found us. And we were able to connect him directly with all the resources. SBS had an amazing expo last year. He attended. He decided, you know what, I'm informed. I have the information. I think I'm gonna kind of just wait a little bit before I proceed. So it is important. I know business owners, sometimes they're wearing so many hats and they're not listening, but the capacity to be able to reach out, and now we'll have that. And more of that is needed. And so to help business owners, why invest $10,000, $20,000 in starting a business and you're not really aware of all of the resources that are available?
Okay, super, super helpful and informative. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. All right, anyone else would like to testify in person before we move on to the virtual testimony? Okay. I'll now call our first virtual panelists, Christopher Leon Johnson and then Karina Kaufman Gutierrez.
You may begin.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Hello? Oh, yeah, hello. My name is Christopher Leon Johnson. I'm here to support, to be in opposition to Intro 449. And the reason I'm going to oppose that bill is because this is nothing but a ruse by the city council with the help of Lincoln Ressler and Justin Brandon, a.k.a. Fester, to extort commercial property owners and to donate to their campaigns. And if they don't, they're going to put them on their list, like how they doing with the commercial, with the private landlord, the residential landlord watch list. The thing, and one more thing I want to say, another thing I want to say is that when it comes to like street vendors and stuff like that, they need protections right now because of Donald Trump in the presidency, and we all know that There's a lot of the big business, the small business owners that own that owns the property or that lease out the property. They're complaining about the legal vendors, and I have a big feeling that if the city council does not do anything about this, really call this stuff out with these, but we all know that some of these owners donate to these politicians' campaigns, like Sean Abreu, that it's going to be a lot of chaos in these areas where they vend at. Because these guys feel that they're gonna be deported because they vending on a sidewalk. And the truth is, the matter of fact is that that's not the case. These nonprofits need to start educating their members when it comes to educating their members about vending on the street or vending inside a subway or delivering food by e-bike, and say, hey, look, you're not gonna be deported by Trump because you're vending on Roosevelt Avenue without a license, or you're riding an e-bike on a sidewalk. These nonprofits need to start educating members, telling them that, look, there's a difference from a nonviolent crime and a violent crime. And while at the same time that the city council need to start putting bills together with the help of the state assembly, state senate, with the help of the speaker of state assembly and its Senate Majority Leader, Joyce Cousins, the governor, to start penalizing any small business, any owner that has a brick and mortar business that reports on any vendor that's on the street. Because like I said, I used to work in a spot where they used to play the games where it's like they see so-called illegal immigrants, but I call them migrants, working next to them. They'll call ICE and try to get them arrested.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
They need to stop the city council, these guys and gals for the next 4 years, because, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your testimony. Next, we'll hear from Karina Kaufman Gutierrez from the Street Vendor Project. Thank you, Karina, for joining us.
You may begin.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much, Chair Feliz and Majority Leader Farias and the committee for the opportunity to testify today. And for all your work that you do supporting all of our city's smallest businesses, including micro businesses like street vendors. Today, I'll be providing testimony on intros 1132 and 1082. As folks are in agreement, street vendors are city's smallest businesses who provide the essential services, products, paying taxes, creating jobs, and generating revenue in their communities. 96% of street vendors are immigrants who hail from all across the globe, and most of them have mixed immigration status as well. First, in response to some of the testimony earlier, I would like to note that Local Law 18 of 2021 designated, and I quote, the Department of Small Business Services to provide training, outreach, and education to all street vendors on entrepreneurship and compliance with all applicable local laws and regulations, as well as solicit feedback from the street vendor community. So I do want to highlight that SBS is the agency designated by law to conduct education to street vendor small businesses, just like to all other small businesses. I mean, it's an essential that SBS does have the resources to complete this work. We would also encourage that the SBS Bootcamp modules be offered in languages other than English or in addition to English, so that we can refer street vendors to participate and take advantage of these resources. Regarding Intro 1132, we'd both like to encourage and confirm that the targeted regulatory compliance services proposed for small businesses is inclusive of micro businesses like street vendors, and that this moves in tandem with Intro 408, which would establish a division within the Department of Small Business Services to assist street vendors and again require that SBS offer trainings and conduct outreach to street vendors, very much in line with Intro 1132. Would also like to encourage that the definition of the term violation, as written in Intro 1132, be expanded to include criminal summonses that are issued to our city's smallest businesses, in addition to violations
Your time has expired.
You could use another 30 seconds to conclude.
Okay, I'll go quick, thank you. Because in just the first 9 months of 2024, NYPD issued over 1,500 criminal summonses to street vendor small businesses, which include violations like failing to display a permit, failing to display prices, vending on a sidewalk less than 12 feet wide. So we'll just encourage that in addition to oath, criminal summonses are also included in the definition of the term violation. In regards to Intro 1082, would just like to highlight how important this is as well. It's been a challenge to many vendors who finally received their supervisory license to actually raise the upfront capital needed to begin their food vendor businesses specifically. Because, for example, a standard halal push cart or taco cart can range from $35K to $50K. And for many, this comes as a surprise and delays the process of actually obtaining the license and the permit. So including a study and report on the types of fees and costs to maintain a vending business would be very helpful. Lastly, in response to the earlier questions regarding documentation of services rendered by SBS, we would encourage that a question like the type of business establishment, i.e. storefront or street vendor, should be asked, because it would be helpful to collect to ensure that services are indeed being rendered to street vendors. Thank you so much for the opportunity to testify, and if there are any questions regarding immigration as well, happy to answer those here.
Yep, thank you so much for your testimony. Yeah, a few questions. Can you talk to us about your experience with the New York City Business Express team and also with the compliance advisors, the business advocates, and the many programs that SBS offers?
Yeah, I think SBS, we know they did a training internally to onboard their hotline regarding street vending. It's not a service that we have recommended to vendors to participate in, just given the complexity of the street vending industry and how complicated permitting has become. So we have, to be honest, have not used those services.
Got it. Okay. Have you heard any vendors mention any good or negative feedback about the Express Services team? Or
I have not heard of any vendor who has used the team.
Got it. Okay, cool.
I will say I have these up here, the flyers that go out about street vending are great because they list the business solution centers. But we, again, or they note they have the resources. Oops, I'll turn up, but let me turn off my blur background. Like we note we have the resources street vendors need to operate or expand. It does feel like a little bit of a dig because unfortunately SBS and the city at large does not have the resources that street vendors need to operate and expand for those who are waiting in line for decades to receive their business permitting. So, we just encourage that in addition to the bills that are here today, Intro 431 is also in consideration moving forward.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us and for your testimony. All right. Would anyone else like to testify, whether in person or remotely? If yes, please let the Sergeant at Arms know so they can sign you up. Seeing no one else, I would like to note again that written testimony will be reviewed in full by committee staff, may be submitted to the record up to 72 hours after the close of this hearing by emailing it to testimony@council.nyc.gov. Seeing no other names, this hearing is hereby adjourned. Thank you so much.